Chapter 215. The first elder nodded indifferently. After the exciting battle between by Qiu Shui and Ji Gaoi, the first elder had lost interest in the last match, and the crowd of onlookers probably had the same mentality. However, there was a rumor that Tang Ao was only able to beat Hua Zipping because his cultivation technique countered Hua Zipping's. People with good luck were often envied by others, so everyone was waiting for Tang Ao to make a fool of himself. Tang Ao, you are the last person to challenge the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. When will you challenge someone on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings? I'll choose randomly. As soon as the great elder's voice fell, Tang Ao said casually. With Tang Ao's current strength, he could fight anyone on the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Tang Ao's indifferent appearance also caused a lot of discussion among the disciples below the duel stage. Some praised Tang Ao for his courage. Some said that he had a personality, but most of them despised him and cursed him. This kid is very arrogant. I bet he can only be arrogant for 10 seconds at most. I'll lick the stairs for every second he lasts. This senior apprentice brother is amazing to be able to think of such a good way to bet. The one who spoke was one of Tang Ao's disciples, Wang Lin. He was very confident in Tang Ao. Since this senior apprentice brother is so interested, then junior apprentice brother will accompany senior apprentice brother for a round. What is senior apprentice brother's name? This person dared to ask for trouble, so Wang Lin had to play along. Otherwise, how boring would his cultivation life be? Ma Sanpao looked at Wang Lin and asked, "It's rare for this junior apprentice brother to be interested. My name is Ma Sanpao. Tell me, how do you want to bet?" Now that he had the support of the people and the trend of the times, he stood out to slander Tang Ao. Many inner disciples looked at Ma Sanpao with admiration. Seeing everyone's gazes, Ma Sanpao was very satisfied with this outer disciple who stood out for him. Ma Sanpao was already thinking to himself that he would be in the limelight soon. If this outer sect disciple wasn't too weak, then he wouldn't mind taking him in as his little brother. In Ma Sanpao's opinion, there weren't many lackeys who knew how to act according to circumstances. Senior brother, if Tang Ao can last 10 seconds on the stage, then for every second that passes, senior brother will lick a piece of the stairs. If Tang Ao loses within 10 seconds, then I'll give senior apprentice brother a red jade. How about it? As Wang Lin spoke, he took out a red jade. The smile in Ma Sanpao's eyes deepened when he saw the red-grade jade. This little brother of his was really too sensible. You know that I, your senior brother, am a virtuous person, and I won't accept a gift directly, so you changed the way you gave me a gift. Not bad, not bad. Even if he is weak, after Tang Ao is defeated, I will make an exception and accept him as my little brother. This Tang Ao sure talks big. I will play with him. After saying that, Xiao Linmu took a step forward and arrived at the arena for the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Rank 5 of the last Dragon and Phoenix rankings, Xiao Linmu. After going on stage, Xiao Linmu casually clasped his hands at the crowd. As for Tang Ao, he didn't even look him in the eye. Among the top 10 experts of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings, Xiao Linmu clearly had a lot of supporters. If Hua Zipping, whom Tang Ao had killed, was the most handsome man in the intersect, then Xiao Linmu could be considered the second most handsome man in the intersect. However, compared to the effeminate Hua Zipping, Xiao Linmu's speech was at least a bit more normal. Senior apprentice brother Xiao Linmu, we support you. Senior apprentice brother Xiao Linmu, teach this arrogant brat a lesson. Tang Ao, get off the stage. You don't want to dirty senior apprentice brother Xiao Linmu's hands. That's right. Tang Ao, hurry up and get off the stage. Otherwise, you won't be able to get off. If you get off now, you can avoid physical pain. Chapter 216. Did you hear the voices from below the stage? Young people shouldn't be too arrogant. Take advantage of the fact that it hasn't started yet and get off. Otherwise, it wouldn't be good if you lose your life on the stage. At this time, Xiao Linmu finally turned around and arrogantly said to Tang Ao. After hearing that, Tang Ao shook his head. I have a question that I don't understand. After Tang Ao finished speaking, Xiao Limu blanked. He didn't know why Tang Ao would say something like that. With your strength, it's normal for you to have things you don't understand. Go back and cultivate for a few years. The stage of the dragon and phoenix ranking doesn't suit you. Xiao Limu said with disdain. What I don't understand is, how did you cultivate to the origin realm with that bit of intelligence? Damn brat, you're looking to die. As Xiao Limu spoke, he clawed towards Tang Ao. He came very quickly, and he left just as quickly. After Xiao Limu neared Tang Ao, before his claw could even touch Tang Ao had already slammed his palm onto his chest. Although Xiao Limu was ranked 5th on the Dragon and Phoenix ranking, he was really stupid. When fighting against a fighter like Tang Ao, who had mastered the 7-kill method of slaughter, he still dared to keep on talking rubbish. After speaking so much rubbish, the 7-kill method of slaughter in Tang Ao's body had already been condensed to its peak state. Because of that, with one strike, the spirit power in Xiao Limu's body was instantly shattered by the powerful 7-kill method. Xiao Limu was the same as the person who first fought against Dong Xinyi. His entire body powerlessly fell down. This battle was exactly the same as Dong Xinye's battle. The only difference was that Dong Xinyi instantly killed a member of a younger generation who wasn't ranked in the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix ranking. On the other hand, the person Tang Ao instantly killed was an expert who had been famous on the Dragon and Phoenix ranking for a long time. Even after Tang Ao had already defeated Xiao Limu with a thunderous move, the audience below the arena still hadn't recovered their senses. It wasn't until Wang Lin threw a red jade into Ma Sanpao's hand that Ma Sanpao realized that Tang Ao didn't last more than 10 seconds on the battle stage. This was because he only used 1 second to defeat his opponent. Of course, this was not because his opponent was too weak. It was because Tang Ao's opponent, Xiao Limu, was a powerful martial artist ranked 5th on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. However, such a martial artist could not even last a second in the hands of Tang Ao. From this, one could see Tang Ao's battle prowess. In fact, if Xiao Limu had fought with Tang Ao, as soon as he got on the stage, instead of talking nonsense with Tang Ao, he would have been able to exchange blows with Tang Ao. Although Tang Ao could defeat him, it was impossible to instantly kill him without exposing his trump card. After instantly killing Xiao Limu, Tang Ao walked off the arena in a relaxed manner. Meanwhile, Xiao Limu lay on the arena, unable to move, and was carried off by 2 attendants. Tang Ao actually won against senior Xiao Limu, who was ranked 5th. Am I seeing things? Not only did he win, he instantly killed him. A newcomer who was not even famous on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings instantly killed an expert who had been famous for a long time. My worldview isn't a mess. Is this something a human can do? He's simply a beast. These new disciples are getting more and more amazing. The ranking competition for the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings is going to be interesting again. What rank do you guys think this Tang Ao will be? After Tang Ao defeated Xiao Limu with a thunderous move, the head elder also came to the arena for the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. The competition for the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings has ended. Everyone, go back and rest. Tomorrow morning, the competition for the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings will begin. Chapter 217. The spectators were all eager to digest what they had learned today. Hence, no one was willing to listen to his nagging. The truth was just as everyone thought. The great elder originally had a bellyful of witty words to impart to everyone, but seeing that these little brats didn't appreciate it, he immediately stopped. Seeing that these brats did not appreciate it, the great elder lost interest and did not want to speak anymore. I believe some of you already know that the opening of the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm this time. The top 5 experts of the Dragon and Phoenix role will represent 7 Kills sect to participate in the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm. After the Great Elder dropped this bombshell, the people who originally planned to hold back and not make a fuss could not help but become excited. The Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm was a legendary mystic realm filled with treasures and martial arts secret manuals. In more exaggerated terms, Even trash picked up in the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm would be a treasure in the outside world. This Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm only opens once every 10,000 years. If we can enter once, we will be able to obtain many treasures. This Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm only opens once every 10,000 years. Even though we can't enter the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm, we can still watch many exciting battles. That's right. In order to obtain a spot to enter the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm, these experts will probably use all their trump cards. This is going to be a good show. These disciples were just here to watch a show. Since they could not enter the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm, they were looking forward to the top 10 experts fighting for a spot to enter the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm. In the crowd, Dong Xinyi heard that the top 5 of the Dragon and Phoenix role could enter the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm. His originally dull expression suddenly changed, but he quickly calmed down like a pool of still water. When Ouyang Duan, who was ranked second on the Dragon and Phoenix role, heard this news, his expression became heated. He had already made up his mind that he would not hold back no matter who he met in tomorrow's competition. It was true that the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm only opened once every 10,000 years. However, if too many people entered together, it would inevitably increase the competition. Thus, Ouyang Duan decided to reduce as many competitors as possible in tomorrow's competition. When the 3 brothers of the Fong family heard this news, they were instantly excited. Great, great. This time, we 3 brothers must obtain 3 spots in the top 5 of the Dragon and Phoenix role. Then, we will enter the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm together to search for treasures. Fong Xiuwen said confidently. But just as Fong Xiuwen finished speaking, Fong Xiuling immediately retorted, "Big brother is wrong. It's the 3 of us plus big sister Tsai. We must get 4 spots. At that time, the 4 of us will join hands to search for treasures in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm. Big brother, third brother's words are very reasonable. Let's do it." This was the first time the 3 brothers had reached a consensus after fighting for so many years. The news of the opening of the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm not only caused a huge stir in the 7 Kills sect, but the entire Black Tortoise continent as well. The 6 great clans of the Primordial Era and the 8 great sects of the Black Tortoise Era. There were also some second-rate and third-rate sects that spread the news. This matter also caused an uproar in the Black Tortoise continent. However, there was a limit to the number of people who could enter the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm at a time. Furthermore, the 6 great clans and 8 great sects of the Primordial Era had always been in the hands of the Black Tortoise 8 great sects. Therefore, although the cultivators of the Black Tortoise continent were extremely tempted, they were at their wits' end. Amidst the anticipation of the members of 7 Kills sect, the ranking battle for the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings arrived as scheduled. At this moment, the top 10 experts of the Dragon and Phoenix role, who were rarely seen on normal days, were all gathered on the Dragon and Phoenix role's battle arena. They were lined up from the right. The first person was naturally Dong Xinyi, who was dressed in black and had an extremely ordinary appearance. Chapter 218. With the 3 brothers of the Fong clan standing there, everyone else could only stand aside, casually. To them, they did not pay much attention to where they stood. Apart from Dong Xinyi, Ouyang Duan, and the 3 brothers of the Fong clan, Jiang Zhilu, who had appeared many times before, as well as the public enemy of the Inner Sanctum, Tang Ao, and the goddess of the Inner Sanctum, Luo Tsai, were also in the arena. Apart from Luo Tsai, there was another young lady in the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. She was Kasahara Yuki, who was ranked 7th in the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings. The last person in the top 10 was Jing Wushang, who was ranked 3rd in the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Since everyone is here, the ranking battle for the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings will officially begin. The Great Elder was still presiding over the ranking battle for the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. However, it was different from the other competitions for the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Other than the 2 competitors, there was also a black-robed administrator on the arena. This administrator's surname was Wu, and it was said that because he cultivated a special technique, he was present. It could avoid the tragedy of genius disciples dying in the competition. Every genius disciple of a sect was the fresh blood of the sect, and they were the future of the sect. In order to improve the overall strength of each disciple, it was necessary to have a battle. However, if a genius disciple was lost because of this, it would not be worth it. For the sake of fairness, in principle, everyone had to fight with the other 9 people, and the ranking would be determined by the outcome of the battle. However, there would be some special circumstances every year. For example, a disciple was too far behind the other disciples, and he would be defeated again and again. In order not to hurt the disciple's confidence, he could only be eliminated prematurely, and the disciple would directly become ranked 10th in the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Jiang Zhulu was proof of this rule. In the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings, Jiang Zhulu had encountered Dong Xinyi as soon as he arrived. The result was obvious. Jiang Zhulu had naturally lost. In the second round, he encountered Ouyang Duan and naturally lost again. The third opponent was Jing Wushang. He had encountered the top 3 experts of the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Another special situation was that a disciple would be seriously injured in a battle and would not be able to fight again in the later rounds, and would also be eliminated prematurely. The top 3 on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings were all slightly stronger than the 7 people ranked behind them. Hence, if one were to encounter 2 of the top 3 in a row in a battle, it was extremely likely that one would be injured or even heavily injured. Because of this, the elders of 7 Kills sect also wanted to set up a rule to change the situation. However, no matter how they thought about it, they felt that it would be unfair no matter how they changed the rules. Thus, the matter was left unsettled. He could only blame his bad luck for encountering such a situation in the tournament. Something worthy of mention was that even though Jiang Zhulu had successively encountered the 3 great experts of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings during the last Dragon and Phoenix rankings, he'd left the arena unharmed, and his strength was obvious. The first match, Dong Xuanye against Fang Xiuwu. Everyone else, please leave, Attendant Wu said emotionlessly under the crowd's anticipation. Following this, Dong Xinyi and Fang Xiuwu remained on the dueling platform, while the others quickly left. Just admit defeat. Dong Xinyi was still not fond of talking. Furthermore, his words were capable of infuriating others to death. However, Fang Xiuwu had no intention of refuting. All right, I admit defeat. After Fang Xiuwu finished speaking, he elegantly walked off the stage. Dong Xinyi was stunned for a moment before he followed suit. Attendant Wu was also very confused. This was a battle between the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. How could these youngsters be so casual? The spectating disciples below the stage were also dumbfounded. The battle that they'd been anticipating for so long had ended just like that? What's going on? Why did it end after just 2 sentences? To be more precise, it was just 1 sentence. Senior brother Dong Xuanye said 1 sentence, and senior brother Fang Xiuwu admitted defeat. This Fang Xiuwu is too much of a coward. Before this disciple could finish speaking, the expressions of the surrounding people immediately changed drastically. They covered his mouth and at the same time gestured for him to keep quiet. Chapter 219. Seeing that this person didn't continue, the disciple whose mouth was covered asked, "What's next?" "Senior brother, why don't you continue?" "There's nothing else." The disciple smiled mysteriously. On the arena, Deacon Wu opened the jade slip in his hand and read, "This match, Fang Xiuling against Luo Cai." Like a moonlight fairy, Luo Cai gently flew onto the arena. A pair of beautiful eyes looked at Fang Xiuling. "Little Ling, it's your first match." At this time, Fang Xiuling, dressed in white, also floated onto the arena like a ghost. "I'm not Sister Tsai's opponent. I admit defeat." On the side, Deacon Wu was still operating his secret technique to save the 2 of them at the critical moment. But in the end, Fang Xiuling admitted defeat. Deacon Wu almost couldn't breathe, and his spiritual power went berserk. Sigh. The 3 brothers of the Fang family are all like this. Every time they face junior Sister Tsai, They always admit defeat. It's a must to admit defeat. Are you willing to beat Junior Sister Tsai? That's true. If I encounter Junior Sister Tsai, I will also admit defeat. Come on, you're not even on the Dragon of Phoenix list. How dare you say you'll give way to Junior Sister Tsai? You speak as if you're on the Dragon and Phoenix lists. After waiting for Deacon Wu to catch his breath, Fong Xiuling smiled and said to Deacon Wu, Uncle Wu, us three brothers, whether we meet Dong Xianyi or Sister Kai Yi's battle, just help us. Okay, Deacon Wu said with a cold face. Deacon Wu's strength was comparable to the Great Elder, and because of his cultivation technique, he was even stronger than the Great Elder. However, Deacon Wu was also the sworn brother of Fong Xiuling's father. Therefore, he was very helpless towards his sworn brother's 3 sons. This match, Dong Xuanyi against Jiang Zhulu. Saying Dong Xuanyi's name, Deacon Wu was no longer prepared to operate his cultivation technique to protect the two of them. In Deacon Wu's opinion, Dong Xuanyi's opponent was going to admit defeat again. However, what Deacon Wu never expected was that Jiang Zhulio's eyes were burning with monstrous fighting spirit. Senior brother Dong, Xuanya, please. Jiang Zhulu did not expect that he would still be able to fight against Dong Xian the moment he arrived. He was very excited because right now, both he and Dong Xianyi were in peak condition, so it would be very fair for them to fight. Yes, facing Jiang Zhulu, Dong Xuanyi did not have any intention of letting Jiang Zhulu admit defeat, because Jiang Zhulu was an opponent worthy of fighting. This was despite the fact that Jiang Zhulu was only ranked 10th in the previous Dragon of Phoenix rankings. However, Dong Xianyi, who had fought against Jiang Zhulu at full power, knew that Jiang Zhulio's strength was at least in the top 5 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Seeing that Jiang Zhulu and Dong Xianyi were about to fight, Attendant Wu's interest was piqued. He made a hand seal, and 2 runes condensed from special spiritual power slowly appeared. These 2 runes were glowing with white light, and there were some special characters that even Tang Ao couldn't understand. Go! Attendant Wu waved his hand, and 2 runes quickly entered Dong Xuanyi and Jiang Zhulio's bodies. After the runes disappeared, Attendant Wu raised his hand, and 2 extremely overbearing spiritual power palm prints blasted towards Dong Xuanyi and Jiang Zhulu. The speed of the spiritual power palm prints was too fast, and Dong Xuanyi and Jiang Zhulu were not prepared, so even Dong Xuanyi was unable to dodge them. However, when the spiritual power palm prints neared them, a white light instantly appeared on the surface of their bodies, blocking the 2 spiritual power palm prints that contained a terrifying aura. Now, the 2 of you can fight freely. With the spiritual protection runes that I've set up, the runes will automatically appear when the 2 of you receive a fatal attack. I'll be by your side, and I'll be able to ensure your safety. After Attendant Wu finished speaking, Jiang Zhulu was overjoyed. Dong Xuanyi's expression also changed slightly, but he quickly recovered. As for Ouyang Duan, who was below the arena, his expression instantly darkened. With the spiritual protection runes that Attendant Wu had set up, it would be very difficult for him to attack Tang Ao. Although he was very confident in the treasure in his hand, he could not help but reveal a bitter expression. He even began to consider who he should use this treasure on. Ouyang Duan had a nail-like object in his hand, which he had obtained by chance in a historical remnant. Chapter 220. In the arena, Dong Xuanyi and Jiang Zhulio's battle was about to begin. In the eyes of the onlookers, there was nothing much to see. The number 1 expert in the top 10 of the Dragon of Phoenix rankings versus the last person in the top 10 of the Dragon of Phoenix rankings. The result was obvious. Even someone as arrogant as Ouyang Duan was staring fixedly at the movements of the 2 people on the dueling platform. In the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings, there were only 3 people who fought against Jiang Zhulu. They were Dong Xianyi, who was ranked first on the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard, Ouyang Duan, and Jing Wushang, who was ranked 3rd on the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard. However, Jiang Zhulu was the only one who managed to escape unscathed after fighting the 3 of them one after another. Although he had lost, Dong Xianyi and the others had no choice but to admit that he was very powerful. On the stage, Jiang Zhuliu's spiritual sea had already engulfed the entire stage in an instant. Furthermore, the quality of the spiritual sea within the spiritual sea secret technique continued to rise with the influx of spiritual energy from heaven and earth. Behind Jiang Zhuliu, 18 life souls were summoned in an instant. The moment these 18 life souls appeared, they immediately entered Jiang Zhuliu's spiritual sea. After the 18 life souls entered his spirit sea, Jiang Zhuliu summoned a bluish-black blue water mystical flood dragon to circle around him. The blue water mystical Jiao was already at the final stage of becoming a true dragon. Although it had not completely transformed into a true dragon, its strength was also extraordinary. The moment Jiang Zhuliu's jade water mysterious dragon appeared, it instantly caused an uproar below the stage. This should be the blue water mysterious dragon of the 19th heaven. That's right. At present, this is the highest level life soul. It's a little interesting. I remember that senior brother Jiang Zhuliu's strongest life soul in the last Dragon and Phoenix role was only 17 skyrocketing. I didn't expect senior brother Jiang Zhuliu to awaken a 19th firmament life soul. I remember that senior brother Dongswini's life soul seems to be the Dark Knight Pearl life soul from the 18th heaven. This situation is extremely disadvantageous to senior brother Dong Xuanya. After Jiang Zhuliu summoned a group of life souls, 18 blurry pitch-black pearls appeared behind Dongswini. This was Dongswini's life soul, the Night Profound Orb. Look, senior brother Dong Xuanya is using the Profound Night Pearl. Strange. Does senior brother Dong Xuanya only have one life soul? I've watched so many Dragon and Phoenix rankings competitions, but I've never seen senior brother Dong Xuanya use another life soul. After everyone thought about it, they also expressed their agreement. In Dongswini's previous battles, his opponents had either been instantly killed by him or killed by the mysterious Night Orb. Up until now, only Ouyang Duan and Jiang Zhuliu were not included in this rule. Although the other experts in the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings had not fought with Dong Xinyi before, they would not be able to escape the same fate. On the viewing platform in the distance, the group of elders secretly praised Dongswini and Jiang Zhuliu. Why is Dongswini's Dark Moon Profound Bead only at the 18th level of heaven? He should be conserving his strength. Judging from his confident appearance and his past style, this kid has at least reached the 20th layer of heaven. Unlike other life souls, the Dark Moon Pearl existed in every heaven. Only by awakening the Dark Moon Pearl life soul in every heaven could one obtain the true Dark Moon Pearl life soul. Furthermore, with every awakening of the Dark Moon Pearl life soul, the Dark Moon Pearl's ability would increase correspondingly. Chapter 2:21. In an instant, all of Dongswini's night pearls were raised to the peak of the 19th heaven. Amazing. What happened? Dongswini raised his 18 soaring heaven life soul to the 19th heaven life soul. F***CK, there's such a thing. The world is really big and full of wonders. Life souls can be used like this. Now senior brother Dongswini and senior brother Jiang Zhuliu are evenly matched again. What do you mean by evenly matched? Don't you know that senior brother Dongswini is invincible among those of the same level? As long as he's on the same level as his opponent, senior brother Dongswini is undefeatable. So powerful? Then I could take a good look. Jiang Zhuliu pointed his finger. The emerald water serpent roared and charged at Dongswini. Dongswini also waved his hand and controlled the 19 night pearls to meet the serpent. Then Dongswini extended his body and leaped 90 feet, instantly jumping out of the range of Jiang Zhuliu's spiritual sea. He had fought against Jiang Zhuliu before. Although he had won, he knew how powerful this secret art spiritual sea was. Below the arena, Tang Ao looked at Dongswini, who had jumped into the air. Tang Ao's heart skipped a beat. When Dongswini had jumped into the air, Tang Ao had sensed 7 streams of light rapidly enter his body. For Tang Ao, who had reached greater mastery of the 7 slaughter art and initial mastery of the 7 slaughter divine way, the 7 streams of light were no stranger to Tang Ao. They were the greater mastery of the seven slaughter art. Sure enough, in the next moment, countless palms that contained terrifying auras blasted toward Jiang Zhulu, who was in the arena. These multicolored palm prints were like a meteor shower, sprinkling down on the duel platform. Due to their extreme speed, the friction between them and the air produced a series of ear-piercing explosions. The moment Dong Xuanyi used this move, a light screen rose from the arena and covered the entire arena. If such a terrifying move affected the spectating disciples, especially the weaker outer sect disciples, the consequences would be unimaginable. Many of the surrounding female disciples cheered when they saw Dong Xuanyi's magnificent move. Girls naturally liked beautiful things. For these female disciples, this kind of gorgeous and powerful move was their unremitting pursuit. What they didn't know was that this dazzling martial skill was the 7-kill massacre art. Seeing this, Tang Ao also thought to himself, should I also show off like this? On the viewing platform, the second elder of 7 Kills sect stroked his beard in relief. Dong Xuanyi's 7 slaughtering heavenly elephants palm is already 70% of my proficiency. Given time, it will definitely become a great weapon. Second elder, that's enough. In my opinion, not only is Dong Xuanyi's 7 slaughtering heavenly elephants palm not inferior to yours, it's even superior, the 5th elder said disdainfully. Old 5, what do you mean by this? Could it be that you want this old man to properly demonstrate my 7 slaughtering heavenly elephants palm to convince you? That's great. My aquamarine Agarwood martial skill has just reached the great accomplishment level. I could try it out with you. As the second elder and the 5th elder glared at each other, a slightly aged voice was heard. It's the era of the young now. You little brats better not quarrel. Hearing this voice, the expressions of the few elders changed. In 7 Kills sect, apart from a few seniors who lived in seclusion, they could be considered as the most senior generation. Even the current sect master of 7 Kills sect was a generation younger than them. Moreover, they were all little old men with white beards and hair. Being called little brats, they were instantly displeased. Chapter 222. Facing this person, the 7 Kills sect elders could be said to have no temper at all. This was because this person was the master of the current sect master of 7 Kills sect, perfected Master Fengya. Although Fengya rarely showed himself in the 7 Kills sect, the elders still had a deep impression of this Uncle Master Fengya, whose cultivation was exceedingly high. The fact that the 7 Kills sect had been able to stand tall on the Black Tortoise continent for 10,000 years was also closely related to this perfected Master Fengya. In truth, Fengya had originally been in seclusion to comprehend the Tao when he suddenly sensed the unique undulations of the 7 Kills slaughtering art he had created. Thus, he couldn't help but show himself. When he saw Dong Xuanyi execute the 7 Kills slaughtering art in the air above the arena, Fengya almost couldn't suppress the desire to take in another disciple. He thought about how his lifespan was coming to an end. If he couldn't climb to a higher realm within 100 years, he would die and his Tao would vanish. It wouldn't matter if he died, but there was currently no one in the 7 Kills sect who could take over his responsibilities as a Grand Elder and protect the sect from the other sections. Thus, Fengya suppressed the thought. At this time, Dong Xuanyi's 7 Kills heavenly phenomena palm stirred up a huge wave in Jiang Zhuliu's spiritual sea. The life souls hidden in Jiang Zhuliu's spiritual sea were shattered by Dong Xuanyi's domineering palm strike, turning into countless specks of light that instantly returned to Jiang Zhuliu's body. As expected of senior brother Dong Xuanyi, you are indeed powerful. Senior brother, take another move from me. If you can take this move, I'll admit defeat. Although Jiang Zhulu hadn't been injured by Dong Xuanyi's indiscriminate bombardment, he had suffered a severe backlash from having several of his life souls shattered. In midair, after Dong Xuanyi executed the 7 Kills heavenly phenomena palm with all his might, he had expended 50% of his spiritual energy. Expending 50% of his spiritual energy was extremely normal for any cultivator. However, Dong Xuanyi had never expended more than 30% of his spiritual energy in the countless battles he had participated in since his debut. As he spoke, Jiang Zhulu put away the other life souls. He had originally planned to fight a long battle with Dong Xuanyi. However, Dong Xuanyi seemed to have taken stimulants as soon as he entered the arena, instantly unleashing a magnificent and powerful large-scale martial technique. His Spirit Sea secret technique was blown to pieces, and several life souls hidden in the Spirit Sea secret technique were also shattered. After withdrawing the few surviving life souls back into his body, Jiang Zhulu slowly gathered the scattered secret skills spiritual sea towards the blue water mysterious dragon. The emerald water mystical dragon was a peak life soul at the 19th firmament. As the Spirit Sea mystic technique constantly surged into the emerald water mystical dragon's body, its aura gradually rose. Kacha! It was as if something had broken. The blue water mystical flood dragon's rising aura instantly gave it the strength of a 20th firmament life soul. Roar! The blue water mysterious dragon roared wildly. Waves of invisible sound waves swept out in all directions, causing ripples to appear on the protective light barrier around the dueling ring. This roar, after another roar, the emerald water mystical dragon shot out two beams of green light from its eyes, shattering the mysterious night pearl life soul that was gathered in one place. However, the strange thing was that after the profound night orb shattered, it did not immediately enter Dong Xuanyi's body. Instead, it floated around Dong Xuanyi and gradually condensed again. Chapter 223. On the stage, Attendant Wu's eyes narrowed as he stared at Dong Xuanyi. If Dong Xuanyi couldn't take the attack, he would instantly dispel it and save Dong Xuanyi. In fact, Attendant Wu was originally one of the elders of the Seven Kills sect, and he was the 8th elder. However, he had strongly opposed the Dragon and Phoenix Roll's method of stimulating disciples to raise their cultivation. In the end, the Dragon and Phoenix Roll was established as scheduled. In a fit of anger, Attendant Wu resigned from his position as an elder and became an attendant. In his opinion, the establishment of the Dragon and Phoenix Roll wasn't without reason. He had opposed it back then. He believed that all Seven Kills sect disciples, regardless of their talent, should be given the same cultivation resources and receive the same cultivation guidance. Now, it seemed that this idea did more harm than good. Without the competition to adapt and the pursuit of cultivation, it would instead hinder disciples' progress. Without the competition of the Dragon and Phoenix Roll, the Seven Kills sect probably wouldn't have been able to nurture genius disciples like Dong Xuanyi and Jiang Zhulu. Facing the blue water mysterious dragon life soul, Dong Xuanyi didn't hold back anymore. Next to the original 19 profound night orbs, a dark and hazy profound night orb slowly appeared. 20 night beads. Dong Xuanyi already has the battle prowess of a 20th Heaven Fate soul, the 5th elder exclaimed on the viewing platform. The 2nd elder also nodded. Even though the outcome hasn't been decided, it's already clear who's stronger. Jiang Zhulu had used a secret technique to raise his blue water mysterious dragon life soul to the 20th Heaven Fate soul in a short period of time. As for Dong Xuanyi, he had awakened a 20th firmament life soul. The spectating disciples below the stage were also dumbfounded. The top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix Roll, and those below, are the same concept. The top 3 of the Dragon and Phoenix Roll, and those below, are on another level. That's not just empty words. Senior Dong Xuanyi is indeed powerful. He actually awakened a 20th Heaven Fate soul at the Origin Martial Realm. Yeah, a 20th Heaven Fate soul should be the limit of an Origin Martial Realm cultivator, right? It should be. In any case, in the secret records of the Seven Kills sect, there has never been in existence who awakened a 20th Heaven Fate soul at the Origin Martial Realm. The blue water mysterious dragon quickly collided with the profound night pearl of the 20th layer of heaven. A terrifying shockwave erupted between the two of them. On the stage, Attendant Wu, who had wanted to save Dong Xuanyi, grabbed Jiang Zhulu and dragged him out of the stage. Just as Deacon Wu and Deacon Wu appeared outside the duel stage, the protective light barrier that isolated the duel stage from the fluctuations fluctuating from the duel stage was instantly covered with spiderweb-like cracks. Then, under everyone's shocked gazes, the light barrier shattered inch by inch. In midair, Dong Xian also appeared to be in a rather sorry state, but he was not injured. However, his clothes were ragged, and his hair was messy, which somewhat ruined his image as the top expert on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. However, Dong Xian did not care about all this at this moment. Just like the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings, Jiang Zhulu had been defeated by him again. Just like the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings, he once again felt a deep shock from Jiang Zhulu. Below the stage, Ouyang Duan's face was also ashen as he stared at Jiang Zhulu and Dong Xinyi. Just like the previous time, these two were still his greatest enemies. After the battle between Dong Xinyi and Jiang Zhulu, everyone had a clearer understanding of the top 10 experts of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. The next few matches were also in the middle. The only unexpected thing was that Tang Ao, who had just entered the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings, fought against Fang Xiuwu, one of the three brothers of the Fang family. In the end, Tang Ao used his mastered 7 slaughter method and defeated Fang Xiuwu. After the unexpected result of Tang Ao defeating Fang Xiuwu was revealed, another shocking piece of news appeared. It was that Fang Xiuling, who was ranked 9th on the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings, defeated Jing Wushang, who was ranked 3rd on the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Chapter 2:24. This match, Tang Ao versus Luo Tsai. While Tang Ao was teasing Luo Tsai, Deacon Wu read out the names of the two people. Hearing this duel, the onlookers were instantly excited. Aha! The public enemy of the inner sect finally confronts junior sister Tsai. How long do you think Tang Ao can last on the duel platform? I say, at most 30 seconds. 30 seconds? In my opinion, at most 10 seconds. No more. Goddess, teach him a lesson. Hearing the noise, Tang Ao walked straight to Deacon Wu. Deacon Wu, I am not a match for junior sister Tsai. I admit defeat. If Tang Ao had said this before, Deacon Wu might have been a little dissatisfied. But since Fang Xiuwu was defeated by Tang Ao, Deacon Wu no longer looked down on Tang Ao. It could be said that he had watched the 3 Fang brothers grow up. Deacon Wu naturally knew how strong the 3 of them were. Tang Ao could defeat Fang Xiuwu, which meant that he was qualified to admit defeat. Tang Ao admitted defeat very straightforwardly, which instantly aroused Luo Tsai's dissatisfaction. What? How dare you look down on me? You're not allowed to admit defeat. Let's have a proper fight. After Tang Ao admitted defeat, Luo Tsai said angrily, "This coward really doesn't dare to fight with Goddess Tsai. Don't call her Goddess Tsai." Junior sister Tsai said that she likes us to call her Junior sister Tsai. That's good. This coward really doesn't dare to fight with junior sister Tsai. Luo Tsai did not let Tang Ao admit defeat, but Tang Ao walked over and took Luo Tsai's hand, walking down the duel platform. After being pulled by Tang Ao, Luo Tsai's pretty face turned red, and she angrily rolled her eyes at Tang Ao. But she did not break free and walk down the duel platform with Tang Ao. Who is that boy? I want to kill him. Kill him. Lower your voice. This is a ruthless person. How dare you barge into the resting area of the female disciples on the first day of the 7 Kills sect? Not long after he entered the inner sect, he was beaten up by Xiao Gudao, who was ranked 40th on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Now, in less than a year, he dared to hold junior sister Tsai's hand in front of everyone. How infuriating! The more the disciples spoke, the more agitated he became. Blood seeped out of the corner of his mouth, but he was completely unaware. Senior brother, why are you vomiting blood? Senior brother, stop talking. You're already vomiting blood. However, the disciple continued to speak. Finally, under the watchful eyes of the other disciples, the disciple vomited blood and fell to the ground. Tang Ao held Luo Tsai's hand and walked all the way to the dueling platform, sitting on the seats for the participating disciples. After sitting down, seeing that Tang Ao had not let go of her hand, Luo Tsai pulled her hand back. Let me go. I have nothing to do with you. You only know how to bully me. If not for the fact that Fong Xiuwu was still lying on the side, the three Fong brothers would have surrounded Tang Ao and taught him a lesson. But with Fong Xiuwu's bloody example, Fong Xiuwen and Fong Xiuling extinguished the anger in their hearts and lit up the Buddha's lamp. They looked at Tang Ao and Luo Tsai with a smile. All right, it's already late. Go back and have a good night's rest. We'll fight again tomorrow to determine the rankings. We'll also choose the 5 disciples who will represent the 7 Kills sect in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm trial. Chapter 225. After Dongswini and Ouyang Duan, the most promising candidates were Tang Ao and Luo Tsai. Up until now, Luo Tsai and Tang Ao had both won 7 out of 8 battles and lost 1. Luo Tsai had lost to Dongswini, while Tang Ao had lost to Luo Tsai. Other than Tang Ao and the other 3, there were 2 other strong contenders for the top 5. They were Fong Xiuling and another female disciple in the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings, Kashihara Shui. Tomorrow's battle was to select the top 5 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings from these 6 people to represent the 7 Kills sect in the Emperor Netherworld's Mystery Realm. Amidst the cries of the spectating disciples, Tang Ao held Luo Tsai's hand and left the arena together. This is too embarrassing. Let go of me. Luo Tsai pinched Tang Ao's arm. You have the heavenly phoenix spiritual jade body. I want to protect you and prevent others from having any ideas about you. In addition to protecting Luo Tsai, the reason why Tang Ao acted in such a high-profile manner was that he did not intend to reveal his love for Luo Tsai. I don't know if others have any ideas about me, but you definitely have. You only know how to bully me. Luo Tsai had hit the nail on the head, and Tang Ao's heart tightened. He held Luo Tsai's hand and squeezed it. Luo Tsai was stunned and immediately understood. She looked at Tang Ao and giggled. Well, so you already had bad ideas. Luo Tsai reached out and poked Tang Ao's waist. Tang Ao's waist ached, and he pulled Luo Tsai into his arms. Molestation. It would have been better if Luo Tsai had not cried out. When she did, Tang Ao realized that he had been talking with Luo Tsai and had unknowingly walked to the resting area for the male disciples. After Luo Tsai cried out, the male disciples rushed out upon hearing the shocking news. When they saw that it was Tang Ao and Li Wuyo, the male disciples who were prepared to watch the show quickly retreated. What a joke! Tang Ao was a vicious person with a fierce reputation. If he was angered, he would suffer for it. After sending Luo Tsai back to the female disciples' resting area, Tang Ao also returned to his own room. Through the past few days of fighting, Tang Ao discovered his own shortcomings. The bloody battle dragon soul wouldn't be enough for the upcoming battle. Right now, his cultivation had risen to the peak of the 9th level of the Origin Realm. It was necessary to go to the Great Thousand World and find a fate spirit that matched his strength. Tang Ao sat cross-legged on his bed and calmed himself down. His spirit quickly entered the boundless world. After cultivating to this level, Tang Ao didn't look at the life souls in front of him. He went straight to the 20th firmament. After entering the 20th heaven, Tang Ao began to hesitate. The life soul of the 20th firmament was already very powerful. Tang Ao was also quite satisfied with it. However, Tang Ao felt that if he wanted to gain something in the Emperor Hades space, he couldn't stop here. He should try to break through. Staring at the endless pressure when his spirit was about to collapse, Tang Ao finally reached the critical point between the 20th and 21st firmament. Tang Ao made up his mind and continued to break through to the 21st firmament. After the arms and one leg of his spirit were completely destroyed, Tang Ao finally reached the limit that an Origin Realm warrior couldn't cross. The Great Thousand World, the 21st firmament. After arriving at the 21st firmament, Tang Ao saw all kinds of strange flowers and herbs that emitted a powerful aura, as well as blades, spears, axes, and axes that were filled with a murderous aura. Chapter 226. This was Tang Ao's first time coming to the 20th heaven in this life, but Tang Ao was no stranger to the 21st heaven. In his previous life, Tang Ao's cultivation was extremely high. He had been to the 21st heaven countless times, and even higher, Tang Ao had been there before. Therefore, Tang Ao could be considered to be familiar with the 21st layer of heaven. My current battle strength is already very impressive, but my battle style is too domineering. It's very easy for me to be covered in injuries. And once I'm injured, my battle strength will decrease. Hence, I have to find a supportive life soul that can heal my injuries, Tang Ao thought to himself. In his previous life, his hidden jade constitution in stone had been awakened, so his cultivation path had been smooth sailing. Soon, his cultivation was extremely high, and he became a peerless demon. But he also received the punishment he deserved, or rather, he paid a heavy price. That was invincible for a lifetime, but lonely for a lifetime. Hence, in this life, he had to make up for the regret he had not had in his previous life. He had wanted to live a peaceful and happy life, then enter the cycle of reincarnation and start a new journey. He did not expect to meet a vicious woman like Qin Yue Shuang in this life. She had schemed to scheme against him, completely destroying his ordinary life. But this was good too. Since you won't let me live an ordinary life, I'll let you know what it means to be a legend. According to the memories of his previous life, there was an extremely good healing support life soul in the 21st heaven. It was called Jade Bone Flesh. But he had been searching the 21st heaven for a long time. So why hadn't he found the Jade Bone Flesh life soul? Tang Ao was puzzled. He had already searched most of the 21st heaven, but he still hadn't found the Jade Bone Flesh life soul in his memories. Could it be that he remembered wrongly? Impossible. In the resting area of the inner sect, in Ouyang Duan's room, two figures were standing face to face. The one on the left was dressed in red, with an arrogant look in his eyes. It was naturally Ouyang Duan. And the beautiful girl opposite Ouyang Duan was no ordinary person. She was Kasahara Yuki, who was in a fight for the top 5 of the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard with Tang Ao and the rest. Senior brother Ouyang, I must enter the top 5 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings this time. As long as you can help me get into the top 5, you can name your conditions. Kasahara Yuki was extremely beautiful, even comparable to Luo Tsai. It was just that her personality was a little cold, and Luo Tsai's appearance and temperament were too outstanding, so Kasahara Yuki's beauty did not attract too much attention. In addition, she had always been cultivating alone and rarely appeared in the inner sect. If it weren't for the Dragon and Phoenix rankings competition this time, practically no one in the 7 Kills sect would have known that there was such a great beauty in the sect. Although she rarely appeared in front of the sect's disciples, she was not as popular as Luo Tsai. However, Kasahara Yuki was still very confident in her own figure and beauty. Furthermore, Ouyang Duan was a greedy and promiscuous person. If she were to look for him, she would definitely succeed. Even though Ouyang Duan had not agreed to it yet, Kasahara Yuki knew that he would definitely agree to it. Ouyang Duan had always been interested in Luo Tsai, but she herself did not lose out to Luo Tsai in terms of beauty and figure. Chapter 227. Although she was born with the beauty that most girls dreamed of, she had never cared about her appearance. Of course, if this body could bring benefits to her martial arts path, she was willing to offer this beautiful body. Junior sister Kasahara Yuki, we only need to eliminate one of the 6 people to get into the top 5. You actually came to me for such a simple matter. After taking a deep look at Kasumi, Ouyang Duan poured himself a cup of wine. Alcohol would cause one's thoughts to sink into chaos, but the more Ouyang Duan drank, the clearer his thoughts became. He wanted to see what Kasahara Yuki was trying to say in a clear state. I've paid close attention to the matches over the past few days. There's no need to talk about Dong Swinny and you, but I'm also not a match for Luo Tsai. Ouyang Duan continued to drink his wine, while Kasahara Yuki spoke calmly from the side. As long as he didn't go against reason, in order to walk to the peak of martial arts, in order to prevent the tragedy of his family from happening again. She didn't hesitate to pay any price to constantly improve her cultivation. Other than Dong Xinyi, Luo Tsai, and us three, can't you handle the remaining Tang Ao and Fong Xiuling? Ouyang Duan stared into Kasahara Yuki's eyes as he asked. Putting aside Fong Xiuling, who possessed the 21st Heavenly Fate Spirit, Ouyang Duan wasn't sure if Kasahara Snow knew that Fong Xiuling possessed the 21st Heavenly Spirit, Light, Thousand-Leaf Willow Fate Spirit. However, Kasahara Yuki was a veteran who was ranked in the top 10 of the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboards. It would be a piece of cake for her to deal with Tang Ao, who had just become an inner disciple. There was no need to trouble him over such a small matter. He looked at Kasahara Yuki's exquisite face and graceful figure, which were not inferior to Luo Tsai's. Ouyang Duan was very moved, and he also had a strong desire to possess her. Although Ouyang Duan's ultimate target was Luo Tsai, who possessed the Heavenly Phoenix spiritual jade physique, he would not reject a peerless beauty like Kasahara Yuki. If Fong Xiuling only possesses the strength he displayed during the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings, then I'm naturally confident in defeating him. However, Fong Xiuling had already broken through the limits of the Origin Realm not long ago and awakened a 21st layer of powerful life spirit. Even though I didn't want to admit it, I was indeed no match for Fong Xiuling right now. As for Tang Ao, although his current performance is not very eye-catching, but Kasahara Yuzuru did not continue speaking. Her cultivation technique was quite unique, and she could sense the other party's body information to a certain extent. This body information included the obscure emotions in one's heart, as well as the movement of spiritual power within one's body. With this special ability, she could know a lot of things that others didn't. Based on her perception, Tang Ao had only used 60% of his strength in his most serious battle in the past few days. And Tang Ao's opponent was indeed Fong Xiuwu, who had defeated him in the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Over the past year, with her unremitting efforts, she should be able to defeat Fong Xiuwu. However, Kasahara Yuki knew that she would not be able to do so. Even if he could defeat Fong Xiuwu, it would not be as clean and casual as Tang Ao. If he and Fong Xiuwu fought, they would definitely be evenly matched. Killing 10,000 of Fong Xiuwu's enemies would come at a great cost. Ouyang Duan naturally noticed the slight change in Kasahara Yuki's eyes. However, Ouyang Duan was too lazy to care about what Kasahara Yuki was thinking about. Through this short period of observation, he had already determined that Kasahara Yuki truly had a favor to ask of him. Since she had a favor to ask of him, then she shouldn't blame him for being impolite. Junior Kasahara Yuki, you should know my hobbies, right? Ouyang Duan poured a cup of wine and brought it to Kasahara Yuzuru's mouth. Chapter 228. Furthermore, these priceless treasures were only secondary. There is also the rumored great Tao inheritance left behind by Emperor Hades in the Emperor's mystic realm. Once one obtained Emperor Hades' inheritance, it was highly possible for one to become a peerless expert like Emperor Hades. This was also Kasahara Shue's pursuit of martial Tao. Of course, her pursuit did not stop there. She even wanted to become an existence that surpassed Emperor Hades. All right, as long as you're willing to give your body to me and become my partner, I will accompany you to eliminate either Tang Ao or Fong Xiuling. I'll help you get rid of either Tang Ao or Fong Xiuling so that you can successfully enter the top 5 of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings and obtain a slot to enter the Netherworld Emperor's secret realm. How about that? After understanding Kasahara Yuki's intentions, Ouyang Duan's eyes lit up with passion. He still had a soul morning spike in his hand. This kind of treasure could even kill a Spirit Sea realm martial artist. Although it could not kill Dong Xianyi, who was protected by a rare treasure, it would be a piece of cake for him to kill either Tang Ao or Fong Xiuling. And this kind of simple effort could be exchanged for a peerless beauty like Kasahara Shui. It was truly something to be happy about. I can give my body to you, but I will not become your partner. I do not want my heart of martial Tao to be shackled. My pursuit is different from yours. In Kasahara Shue's mind, the pinnacle of martial Tao was supreme. As for everything else, it was not important anymore. This was something her father had instilled in her since she was young. It was precisely because she had always doubted this belief that she had lost her parents, her older brother, her younger brother, and her unborn younger sister during one of her training expeditions. Her talent in martial Tao was not weak. If she had believed in her father's beliefs from the start, she would have been able to prevent such a tragedy from happening. Later on, as she cultivated, Kasahara Shue experienced many similar incidents. And because she did not focus on her own martial Tao, and because she was not strong enough, many things happened that she regretted and could not be undone. In several life and death experiences, her closest companions had died. Her senior brother, who had adored her for a long time, died. And all of this, in Kasahara Shue's eyes, was caused by her own lack of strength. As long as she was weak, she would continue to encounter such things. No matter what price he had to pay, he had to become stronger. He had to firmly control his own fate in his own hands so that he would not suffer the torment of tragedy. All right, junior sister Kasahara Yuki, it's a deal. They had drunk quite a bit of wine and were sitting under the dim light. Ouyang Duan was gradually unable to suppress the evil fire in his body. Looking at Kasahara Yuki, who was right in front of him, Ouyang Duan's hand reached out towards her. However, he was instantly frozen by a patch of ice. Junior sister Kasahara Yuki, what do you mean by this? Could it be that you don't believe in my strength? As Ouyang Duan spoke, spiritual energy swirled out from his hand, and a clump of flames instantly sprayed out. The ice covering his hand melted instantly. It's not that I don't believe in senior brother Ouyang's strength. After the matter is settled, I will naturally fulfill my promise. Before that, senior brother Ouyang better not touch me. Also, senior martial brother Ouyang should make a move. Regardless of whether he defeats Tang Ao or Fong Xiuling, I don't want senior martial brother Ouyang to take their lives. Otherwise, we'll write off everything we just said. Chapter 229. However, Kasahara Shue continued. Also, I will only give you my body once. I need to focus on cultivation and have no time to do such things with you. After Kasahara Shue finished speaking, Ouyang Duan suddenly laughed. He was so angry that he started laughing. For so many years, there were very few things that he couldn't get his hands on. As for Luo Tsai, it was only because her father was the leader of the Seven Kills sect, and her mother was the leader of the Luo family of the ancient era. Due to their power, he had not made a move for a long time. However, it was only a matter of time before he got his hands on Luo Tsai. The trial in the Emperor Hades' mystic realm was a very good opportunity. As long as he and Luo Tsai were together, he had the means to become the leader of the Seven Kills sect and the son-in-law of the ancient era's Luo family. By then, not only would he get his hands on Luo Tsai, but even the Luo family of the ancient era and one of the 8 major sects, the Seven Kills sect, would be his. With the power of the Luo family of the ancient era and the Seven Kills sect, as well as the power of the Ouyang family, he could instantly unify the 6 great clans of the ancient era, then wipe out the other 7 major sects and unify the Black Tortoise Continent. Throughout the history of the Black Tortoise Continent, there had been countless peerless experts. However, after these experts left behind some legends on this continent, they still returned to dust in the end. They turned into dust and completely vanished from this world. In Ouyang Duan's opinion, he would only be able to obtain the best cultivation resources if he completely controlled this continent. With a vast amount of high-quality cultivation resources and treasures, even a fool would be able to cultivate to a level that would shock the world. Not to mention someone like him who had outstanding talent in the martial way. However, Ouyang Duan only dared to think about these things in his heart. Although he had some ability, his strength was ultimately still not enough. To achieve his goal, he still had a long way to go. To give her body to him, and only once. Recalling what Kasahara Shue had said, Ouyang Duan sneered. What if I don't agree? In that case, I can only look for Tang Ao or Fong Xiuling and ask one of them to withdraw from the finals with my body. The three brothers of the Fong family followed Luo Tsai all day long like flies, and Tang Ao even pulled at Luo Tsai in public. The two of them were obviously not people who specialized in martial arts, so he believed that the two of them would not reject his conditions. Although Kasahara Yuki only regarded her body as an external object in her martial arts cultivation, she was still unwilling to look for Tang Ao or Fong Xiuling if she had a choice. From her point of view, even though Tang Ao and Fong Xiuling weren't bad, they were still quite a bit lacking when compared to Ouyang Duan. Everything she had was for the sake of becoming a powerhouse. Her body had to be given to a powerhouse in martial arts. With this thought in mind, the first person she found was, of course, Dong Xinyi. However, she did not expect that. After he explained the reason for his visit to Dong Xuanye, the usually cold and stern Dong Xuanye actually blushed and fainted. However, she was still a little stunned. Dong Xinyi, who no one in the 7 Kills sect could defeat, had actually been defeated by her just like that. He had been defeated, right? Junior sister Kasahara Yuki, since you have a favor to ask of me and have come in my place, I should be the one who sets the rules. Ouyang Duan's voice was a little sinister. Chapter 230. Tang Ao had been here in the beginning, but he quickly left when he saw that it was empty. It was only after he had wandered most of the 21st heaven that he remembered the phenomenon. After sitting down cross-legged, Tang Ao found something unusual about this place. Under Tang Ao's calmness and concentration, he sensed that there was indeed a special life soul in this space. As his incomplete body was constantly repaired by the special life soul in the surrounding space, Tang Ao had a deeper understanding of the life soul. When Tang Ao broke the world, the arm that had been shattered by the rules of the 21st heaven gradually grew out. Following that, Tang Ao's incomplete left leg gradually condensed and soon recovered to its original state. The wounds on Tang Ao's body gradually healed. Soon, Tang Ao looked no different from when he first came to the colossal world. At that moment, Tang Ao was completely certain that the thing that lingered around his body was the target of his trip, the only jade bone flesh life soul in the 21st heaven. The reason why it was said to be the only one meant that as long as Tang Ao did not die, a second jade bone flesh life soul would not be born in the colossal world. After Tang Ao's body completely recovered, countless light green dots surged into Tang Ao's body. When Tang Ao's body could no longer contain these light dots, these fine light green fluorescent dots were still gathering towards Tang Ao. As these light green dots continued to gather, a light green armor gradually appeared on the surface of Tang Ao's body. Seeing this scene, Tang Ao was extremely shocked, and at the same time, he was thinking about the reason for this phenomenon. As Tang Ao was thinking, a large amount of information surged from the jade bone flesh life soul into Tang Ao's mind. After receiving this shocking news, Tang Ao was speechless for a long time. This was because the jade bone flesh life soul had been crushed by the rules of the Kiliakosm families. The jade bone flesh life soul originally belonged to the 21st heaven life soul. Its origin was also at the 21st heaven. However, for some unknown reason, its grade continued to grow, and it actually broke through to the 21st grade. It was originally at the 21st firmament, but it had surpassed the grade of a 21st firmament life soul. Therefore, in a sense, the jade bone's flesh life soul had already surpassed the rules of the boundless universe on a certain level, becoming an extremely special existence. Inspired by this, Tang Ao thought to himself, is there any way for my other life souls to advance like the flesh-growing jade life soul? This was because the jade bone flesh life soul was not allowed to exist in the 21st firmament. However, after Tang Ao absorbed the jade bone flesh life soul into his body, it immediately became extremely normal. However, its strength was far beyond what a 21st firmament life soul should have. As long as he grasped the secret it was very likely that he could constantly strengthen the life soul in his body. If this method was feasible, then his achievements in this life might reach an unimaginable height. Just as Tang Ao was thinking about this, the hexagram mirror hanging around his neck suddenly lit up. A technique called Heaven's Evolution Record instantly appeared in Tang Ao's mind. After scanning through the technique given by the hexagram mirror in his mind, Tang Ao was greatly shocked. This so-called Heaven's Evolution Record was actually a technique that described the way to advance one's life soul. Chapter 231. With the protection of this layer of crystal armor, he might be able to possess a powerful life soul that was above the 21st layer of the boundless world when he was in the origin martial realm. Although the low-level life souls that he had previously awakened could eventually advance into high-level life souls, according to the Heaven's Evolution Record, who would complain about having too many high-level life souls. Anyway, Tang Ao would not complain about having too many high-level life souls. So Tang Ao did not hesitate to step into the boundary transformation gate between the 21st and 22nd layer of heaven. Under a terrifying pressure, Tang Ao arrived at the 22nd layer of heaven. But at this time, the crystal armor on the surface of Tang Ao's body only had some slight cracks, and Tang Ao himself did not suffer much damage. This layer of crystal armor was an opportunity that he could not replicate. In his previous life, his cultivation had reached such a high level, but he still had not encountered the phenomenon of a life soul advancing. The layer of crystal armor on his body was the good fortune that the jade bone flesh life soul had evolved for tens of thousands of years. Therefore, he had to seize this opportunity and find an incomparably powerful life soul. Tang Ao's body was like a green flash of light, shuttling through the 22nd layer of heaven. In the face of this rare opportunity, Tang Ao naturally would not stop at the 22nd layer of heaven. Not long later, Tang Ao arrived at the boundary transformation gate of the 22nd layer of heaven, and the crystal armor on his body had shattered quite a bit, but his body still did not suffer much damage. Looking at the damage of the layer of crystal armor on his body, Tang Ao estimated that this layer of crystal armor could at most protect him to the 23rd layer of heaven. The most likely situation was that after this layer of crystal armor protected him to the 23rd layer of heaven, he would immediately be crushed by the laws of heaven and earth in the 23rd layer of heaven. Therefore, he had to quickly enter, find a suitable life soul, and then quickly refine it, and then quickly return his soul to his body. He used the word quickly 3 times, and the matter was indeed as urgent as he thought. Hardening his heart, Tang Ao instantly stepped into the 23rd layer of heaven. Tang Ao immediately regretted stepping into the 23rd heaven. He should have found a suitable life soul in the 22nd heaven instead of greedily coming to the 23rd heaven. This was because the moment Tang Ao stepped into the 23rd firmament, he would not be able to choose a life soul and refine it. As soon as he stepped into the 23rd heaven, the crystal armor on his body instantly shattered. However, Tang Ao knew that this wasn't because of the crystal armor. It was because he was too weak. Because he was too weak, the crystal armor on his body couldn't unleash its full power. After the crystal armor shattered, Tang Ao's body instantly shattered. Starting from his legs, Tang Ao's soul body turned into countless light shards and slowly disappeared. Even though the newly awakened jade bone flesh life soul was constantly fighting against the laws of heaven and earth that were suppressing Tang Ao, it was constantly repairing Tang Ao's broken body. Chapter 232. In Ouyang Duan's room, as Ouyang Duan and Kasahara Shui had yet to reach an agreement, snowflakes were already floating around Kasahara Shui. Snow began to fall around Kasahara Yuki. Even though she was not a match for Ouyang Duan, it was clearly impossible for Ouyang Duan to control her without making a sound. Ouyang Duan sneered. He looked at Kasahara Shui, who was surrounded by snowflakes, and his heart was filled with anger and desire. Since Kasahara Shui sent herself to him in the middle of the night, then she shouldn't blame him for being impolite. Even if Kasahara Shui revealed this matter, Ouyang Duan would not be afraid. He was the successor of the Ouyang clan of the primordial era, and Kasahara Shui was only a normal intersect disciple of the Seven Kill School with decent talent. With this relationship, as long as he didn't offend people he shouldn't offend, no matter what he did in the Seven Kills School, as long as he didn't go too far, the elders and sect leader would naturally close one eye. Disciples at their age were all hot-blooded. Even if he really did something to Kasahara Shui, nothing would happen. From what Ouyang Duan could see, this kind of thing was within the scope of the school's tacit approval. Thinking to there, Ouyang Duan took out a skull glowing with black-purple light from his storage ring. Seeing the skull glowing with black-purple light in Ouyang Duan's hand, Kasahara Shui was shocked. Before the last Dragon and Phoenix rankings, she, Dong Xinyi, and Ouyang Duan had gone on a sect mission together, and Ouyang Duan had used that strange skull that glowed with a dark purple light to knock out a spiritual ocean realm martial artist. That skull could even knock out a spirit sea realm warrior, let alone a warrior of the 9th level of the origin realm like her. If she was hit by Ouyang Duan's skull, she would instantly lose consciousness. Seeing the strange skull glowing with black-purple light, Kasahara Shui was flustered. Asking Ouyang Duan to do something for her was like sending a sheep into a tiger's mouth. The Seven Kill School seemed to be fair and just, but some people with high status still had some special privileges in the Seven Kill School. As long as they didn't go too far, those people could do things that other disciples could not do in the Seven Kill School. Ouyang Duan was obviously one of the few disciples with special privileges. Ouyang Duan was the successor of the Ouyang clan of the primordial era, and she was only a talented intersect disciple of the Seven Kills School. Even if Ouyang Duan had taken advantage of him today, as long as he didn't cause any negative effects, he wouldn't care. The elders in the sect would definitely turn a blind eye to this matter and muddle through it. In the end, it would be left unsettled. Kasahara Yuanxue felt a little regretful. She had been too impatient for the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm. Now, she was like a lamb in a tiger's den. Even though Kasahara Yuki did not cherish her beautiful body, she did not wish to see it destroyed in the hands of a treacherous villain like Ouyang Duan. Because of this, Kasahara Yuki was secretly planning how she could escape when the skull in Ouyang Duan's hand hit her. How could Ouyang Duan not understand Kasahara Yuki's thoughts? Although the soul-suppressing bone in his hand was useful, its activation speed was extremely slow. If he were to attack Yuanxue face-to-face, there was no way he would be able to hit her. Furthermore, with Kasahara Yuzuru's intelligence, she would definitely be able to see the flaws in the soul-suppressing bone. Chapter 233. As Ouyang Duan was calculating, a terrifying ray of light pierced through the clouds and landed in the resting area of the Seven Kills sect's intersect disciples. Sensing the strength of the streak of light, Ouyang Duan's expression turned cold. This was a streak of light that originated from the 21st layer of heaven. This meant that there was someone among the Seven Kills sect's intersect disciples who had awakened the 21st layer of heaven's fate spirit. There were many talented disciples in the Seven Kills sect, but Ouyang Duan knew that the only one with such talent was his nemesis, Dong Xinyi. Ouyang Duan's expression darkened when he thought that Dong Xinyi might have awakened a 21st Heavenite Pearl. It was so heavy that it seemed like water could be squeezed out of it. A good chance. Seeing that Ouyang Duan was distracted, Kasahara Shui jumped out of the window without hesitation. However, the moment she left the ground, the soul-suppressing bone, which was glowing with a dark purple light, landed on her lower body. After being hit by the soul-suppressing bone, Kasahara Shui's consciousness started to imitate it. She took out her hairpin and stabbed it into her smooth abdomen. The intense pain instantly woke Kasumi up. Her senses were extremely sharp, and she could tell that the light had landed not too far away from here. Kasahara Yuzuru unleashed all of her spiritual power, causing snowflakes to appear out of thin air. Then, she dragged her drowsy body towards the place where the streak of light had fallen from the sky. Ouyang Duan had mistakenly thought that the ray of light was Dong Xianye's, but Kashahara Shui knew that it wasn't Dong Xianyi who had awakened a 21st heaven soul. This was because the ray of light had not landed in Dong Xianye's resting room. At the same time, Kashahara Shui was extremely curious about this person who had awakened a 21st heaven soul. Among the inner sect disciples, there shouldn't be anyone as monstrous as Dong Xianyi. Although it was rumored that Feng Xiuling had also awakened a 21st heaven spiritual light, Thousand Leaves Willow, Feng Xiuling had hinted that he had used some tricks to awaken the spiritual light, Thousand Leaves Willow. Outside Ouyang Duan's room, Ouyang Duan stood on the empty ground and chased after Kashahara Shui. Although he didn't know how Kashahara Shui had managed to escape after being hit by the soul-suppressing bone, Ouyang Duan was sure that she couldn't have gotten far. Another thing that puzzled Ouyang Duan was that Kasahara Yuki did not run towards the male disciple's resting area. Instead, she ran towards the other side of the resting area. Today, he had even used the soul-suppressing bone. Ouyang Duan would not rest until he got his hands on Kasahara Yuki. Hence, despite his doubts, Ouyang Duan did not stop his pursuit. Sensing that her consciousness was becoming more and more blurry and that Ouyang Duan was closing in on her, Kasahara Yuki used her hairpin to prick her left and right shoulders twice. Then he stabbed himself 3 times in the abdomen. As time passed, the effects of the soul-suppressing bone grew stronger and stronger, and Kasahara Yuzuru's consciousness became more and more blurry. Furthermore, Kasahara Suki was not sure if the genius disciple who had awakened to the 21st heavenly layer would offend Ouyang Duan in order to save her. In Kasahara's opinion, there shouldn't be such a person in this world. She would be able to reach the residence of the genius disciple in 10 breaths' time. Sensing that her consciousness was slowly slipping away, Kasahara Yuki gritted her teeth and slit her wrist. A stream of bright, red-hot blood flowed out, forming a sharp contrast with the pure white snowflakes around him. After cutting her wrist, Kasahara Yuki stabbed the hairpin into her left shoulder. Chapter 234. Bang! Kasahara Yuki, dressed in a white dress, fell in front of Tang Ao's door. Hearing the noise outside the door, Tang Ao was stunned. Who was making such a big noise in the middle of the night? Then, Tang Ao got up and opened the door. The moment he opened the door, a snowflake mixed with a special fragrance instantly rushed into Tang Ao's room. Tang Ao also saw Kasahara Yuki lying on the ground outside his room. Kasahara Yuki's appearance was not inferior to Luo Tsai's. Some people who liked cold beauties were even more infatuated with Kasahara Yuki than Luo Tsai. For such a beauty, Tang Ao naturally had a very deep impression of her. However, when Tang Ao saw Kasahara Yuki covered in blood, he was stunned. Who was the one who did this? How could such a weak girl be injured like this? Facing such a beauty, how could he have the heart to be so ruthless if it wasn't a life and death feud? When Tang Ao opened the door, Kasahara Yuki's consciousness was almost completely gone. Kasahara Yuki saw that the person who walked out of the room was Tang Ao, and Tang Ao was staring at her blankly. Kasahara Yuki was in despair. With the last of her strength, she pulled out the hairpin that was nailed into her left shoulder. Then, she ruthlessly slashed at her own delicate face. From her point of view, even if Tang Ao was willing to help her, after Ouyang Duan explained the matter of her request to Ouyang Duan, he did not even need to think to know that Tang Ao would definitely not become enemies with Ouyang Duan just to help him. It didn't matter that Tang Ao was a genius who had awakened the 21st heavenly fate soul. However, Kasahara Yuki did not believe that Tang Ao would have the courage to go against Ouyang Duan, who was ranked 2nd on the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboards. When Tang Ao saw that the hairpin was about to cut Kasumi's face, he immediately reached out and grabbed Kasumi's wrist. Looking at the helpless and pitiful Kasahara Yuki, Tang Ao felt as if he was looking at Shinuru, who had had a difficult life. Tang Ao noticed that Kasahara Yuki's eyes were filled with bitterness. Even in his 2 lives, Tang Ao had never seen such bitterness. Tang Ao did not know what had happened to Kasahara Yuki, but there was one thing that Tang Ao was sure of. This beautiful woman was a pitiful but strong person. Now that you're here, you're safe. Tang Ao picked Kasahara Yuki up and smiled at her. As he got closer, Tang Ao could see the bitterness in Kasahara Yuki's eyes, which were also filled with confusion and despair. If such a person did not have enough courage and determination, he would definitely not be able to survive. At this moment, Kasahara Yuki's white dress was dyed red with fresh blood. The blood stained Kasahara Yuki's white dress like bright red plum blossoms, but it was different from the pure and elegant plum blossoms. Kasahara Yuki's blood had dyed the plum blossoms, making them appear both demonic and poignant. At this moment, Ouyang Duan also rushed over. Seeing Kasahara Yuki in Tang Ao's arms, Ouyang Duan was stunned. "It's you, it's me. Put junior sister Kasahara Yuki down." "Impossible. Is that your answer?" "Not really." As Tang Ao finished speaking, the seven-colored light of the seven-kill slaughter art tore through the air, pressing towards Ouyang Duan. Just as Kasahara Yuki fell, Ouyang Duan rushed over. Although he did not understand what had happened between Kasahara Yuki and Ouyang Duan, but between fellow disciples, no matter what happened, Ouyang Duan would not dare to do such a thing. This was what Tang Ao thought, so his seven-kill slaughter art was even more powerful than before. If not for this seven-kill slaughter art, which was even more powerful than before, Tang Ao naturally would not have been able to block the morning soul nails that flew towards him in an instant. Chapter 235. Thus, the moment he decided to help Kasahara Snow, Tang Ao activated the seven-kill art in his body. Kasahara Snow was extremely sensitive to all kinds of spiritual energy ripples in the surroundings. Thus, when she saw Tang Ao immediately activate the seven-kill art after Tang Ao picked her up, Kasahara Snow was a little confused at first. But now that she saw Tang Ao arrive first and defeat Ouyang Duan's morning soul spike in one move, she finally understood. Not only was Tang Ao talented in martial arts, even his temperament was incomparable. Currently, Kasahara Snow's consciousness was completely cut off from her body. Although she could feel the pain in her body and the heat in Tang Ao's arms, she could not control her body anymore. This was the effect of the soul-suppressing bone. This was the effect of the soul-suppressing bone, as well as its power. It allowed people to clearly accept the reality of their own death. Not only could they clearly feel the pain in their body, they could even witness their own death with their own eyes. Thus, when that spiritual sea realm warrior was hit by the soul-suppressing bone, he instantly ended his own life without a second thought. After Ouyang Duan's attack failed, and he lost a morning soul spike, his heart was filled with hatred. But not long ago, someone in the inner sect had awakened a 21-level fate spirit, which definitely attracted the attention of the elders of the seven-kill sect. It was unwise for him to fight with Tang Ao here. Even if he wanted to kill this brat, he would have plenty of chances to do so in the finals of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings tomorrow. Thinking of this, Ouyang Duan laughed coldly. "Tang Ao, you have to take good care of junior sister Kasahara Snow tonight. She is so heavily injured, if she dies in your room, you will not be able to escape responsibility. Junior brother Tang, why don't you hand her over to me? I come from the Ouyang clan, so I have a good understanding of medicine." Hearing Ouyang Duan's words, Kasahara Snow was shocked. She had been struck by the soul-suppressing bone and had lost all signs of life. It was as if she was dead. Tang Ao was not even afraid to face Ouyang Duan. If he did not know that the soul-suppressing bone had fallen into Ouyang Duan's trap and handed her over to Ouyang Duan, then she would really be in danger today. Not only that, Ouyang Duan had even purposely protected his own clan in order to force Tang Ao to submit. At this moment, Kasahara Yuki really did not know what her fate would be like. Kasahara Yuki began to regret her actions. She shouldn't have scratched her pretty face earlier. This way, even if she ended up being tainted by Ouyang Duan, she could at least disgust him a little. I don't know what happened between you and Kasahara Yuki, but I won't hand her over to you. It's best if nothing happens to her. If anything happens to her, I won't let you off. Hearing Tang Ao's threatening words, Ouyang Duan's heart leaped with joy. Just now, he had thought that his cultivation was high, so he decided to use brute force to solve the problem. He had actually forgotten why Kasahara Yuki was looking for him. When Kasahara Yuki heard Tang Ao's words, her heart was filled with warmth and guilt at the same time. Not too long ago, she was still thinking about how to get either Tang Ao or Fong Shieling eliminated from the competition. Who would have thought that Tang Ao would save her? Kasahara Yuki could already imagine the scene where Ouyang Duan told Tang Ao the truth and Tang Ao would throw her out in a fit of rage. But if Tang Ao really did that, Kasahara Yuki would not blame Tang Ao at all. This was because she had already witnessed Tang Ao's fearless attitude when facing Ouyang Duan. She was not related to Tang Ao at all, but Tang Ao was still willing to go to such lengths for her. Kasahara Yuki's heart was already filled with warmth. Even the layers of ice in her heart seemed to have been melted by this warmth. Chapter 236. After Ouyang Duan said those words, he was very proud in his heart. It was as if he could already see the scene of Tang Ao throwing Kasahara Snow to the ground in rage. As long as it was a normal person, after knowing about this, there would be no one who wouldn't be angry. If it was Ouyang Duan himself, if he encountered such a thing, he would have already killed Kasahara Snow on the spot. After Tang Ao heard that, his hand moved. Kasahara Snow's heart trembled, but she quickly recovered. She only had herself to blame and no one else. When Ouyang Duan saw Tang Ao's action, the smile in his eyes became even deeper. But very quickly, Ouyang Duan's smile turned into monstrous rage. Because Tang Ao's hand moved and he hugged Kasahara Snow even tighter. Kasahara Snow had lost too much blood and her body was already a bit cold. Tang Ao wanted to use his own body temperature to ensure that Kasahara Snow's body wouldn't suffer any more serious damage. Kasahara Snow's consciousness felt the warmth on her body. Even though she couldn't control her body at that moment, 2 drops of tears flowed down from the corner of her eyes. Senior Ouyang, if there's nothing else, please return. I won't send you off. After speaking, Tang Ao didn't care about Ouyang Duan anymore. He carried Kasahara Snow and walked toward his own room. Kasahara Snow had lost too much blood. If she wasn't treated, even an Origin Realm cultivator's life would be in danger when she lost consciousness. Ouyang Duan looked at Tang Ao with an ashen face. He secretly decided in his heart that on the arena tomorrow, he would definitely kill Tang Ao with lightning speed. As for Kasahara Snow, after entering the Netherworld Emperor's secret realm, he would make her regret rejecting his good intentions today. Ouyang Duan was not worried about Kasahara Snow's safety. From what he saw, Kasahara Snow was only smashed by his soul-suppressing bone and her soul was scattered. There weren't any life-threatening injuries. As for the bloodstains on Kasahara Snow's body, Ouyang Duan didn't pay too much attention. From what he saw, no matter how much trash Tang Ao was, he should be able to do something as simple as stopping the bleeding. In Kasahara Yuki's consciousness, she could clearly feel Tang Ao carrying her into his room. After Ouyang Duan left, Kasahara Yuki heaved a sigh of relief in her heart. Although she did not know how Tang Ao would treat her, it would at least be better than falling into Ouyang Duan's hands, right? However, as soon as Kasahara Yuki calmed down and felt the injuries on her body, she instantly became anxious. Kasahara Yuki had been so focused on escaping that she had continuously inflicted injuries on herself to keep herself awake. Now that she was fully conscious, she realized that she had caused such serious injuries to herself in her panic. His left wrist was cut open by the hairpin, and blood kept flowing. His lower abdomen was also pricked 7 or 8 times by his own hairpin. His left and right shoulders were also pricked 3 times by the hairpin. The most serious one was when he was about to lose consciousness and accidentally nailed the hairpin half an inch above his heart. Chapter 237. With such a serious injury, her body would probably be completely exhausted before her soul could return to her body. It was not that she had never thought that she would one day walk towards death, but she had never imagined that she would end her life in such a manner. Looking at the injuries on Kasahara Yuki's body, Tang Ao was furious. He could not imagine how much Ouyang Duan had forced Kasahara Yuki to injure herself to such an extent. After a while, Tang Ao held Kasahara Yuki's right hand. Even though she knew that she was definitely going to die today, Kasahara Yuki still felt a little shy and curious when she saw Tang Ao holding her right hand. She did not know what would happen in the final moments of her life. Would she leave this family with warmth and happiness? After checking Kasahara Yuki's meridians, Tang Ao was slightly relieved. Even though Kasahara Yuki's injuries were serious, her meridians were not damaged. Tang Ao also saw the hairpin in Kasahara Yuki's right hand that was stained with fresh blood. After holding the hairpin in his hand, Tang Ao's majestic spiritual energy shook the sharp hairpin into dust. Kasahara Yuki looked at Tang Ao's actions strangely, not understanding why Tang Ao would do such a thing. What Tang Ao did next was even more confusing to Kasahara Yuki. She saw a sharp sword chi shoot out from Tang Ao's right hand and cut open a wound on her left palm. Hot blood immediately flowed out. Then, under Kasahara Yuki's shocked gaze, Tang Ao grabbed her bleeding left wrist with his bleeding palm. At this time, Tang Ao's body gradually emitted some warm green light, and Kasahara Yuki felt a warm current slowly flow into her body. Under the nourishment of this warm current, her internal injuries actually began to heal slowly. Kasahara Yuki was extremely shocked. She had cultivated for so long, but she had never seen such a technique. Looking at the light green light dots dancing and circling around Tang Ao's body, Kasahara Yuki was a little confused. She vaguely felt that it was a life soul, but she had never seen such a life soul before. She had never even heard of such a life soul. Kasahara Yuzuru's injuries were too severe, and Tang Ao had expended a lot of energy to force his way into the 23rd layer of heaven. He had even sustained some injuries. Therefore, even though Tang Ao had the Jade Bone Life Soul, it was still difficult for him to heal Kasahara Yuki's injuries. After healing Kasahara Yuki's injuries, Tang Ao was left with less than 30% of his spiritual power. His recently awakened Jade Bone Life Soul had also been greatly depleted. However, Tang Ao continued to heal Kasahara Yuki's internal injuries. Tang Ao would never give up halfway, be a good person to the end, and send the Buddha to the West. Moreover, Tang Ao and the proud Jade Bone Life Soul would not allow themselves to be unable to save Kasahara Yuki. Sensing Tang Ao's intention, the Jade Bone Life Soul suddenly burst out with a vibrant green light. At the same time, the spiritual power in Tang Ao's body began to burn. Kasahara Yuzuru's injuries were also healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. After a while, Kasahara Yuzuru's injuries would be completely healed. Tang Ao had also expended too much energy and collapsed on top of Kasahara Yuzuru. Kasahara Yuzuru's scattered soul looked at Tang Ao, who had collapsed on top of her, with a complicated expression on her face. Now, all she had to do was wait for 8 hours to pass, and the effects of the soul-suppressing bone would wear off. Then, she could go and settle the score with Ouyang Duan. Although she was currently not Ouyang Duan's match, she believed that with her unremitting efforts, she would one day be even stronger than Ouyang Duan. Chapter 238. In Tang Ao's room, the Jade Bone Life Soul slowly retreated back into Tang Ao's body after it had completely healed Tang Ao's injuries. Tang Ao's internal injuries were almost all caused by forcing his way into the 23rd heaven to refine his life soul. Furthermore, Tang Ao's injuries were not serious due to the protection of the light green crystal armor. However, in order to heal the dying Kasahara Yuki, Tang Ao had used up too much of his soul and spiritual energy. Hence, even after his injuries had healed, Tang Ao did not wake up very quickly. In less than 4 hours, Kasahara Yuki's soul had been drifting away, watching Tang Ao lying on top of her body. Kasahara Yuki's thoughts were in a mess. Tang Ao's actions had completely overturned everything she knew overnight. In her eyes, this was a sinful world where the strong preyed on the weak. The strong did whatever they wanted, while the weak struggled at death's door. Because her family was considered weak, they only cared about their own family. As a result, they were still innocently killed. However, she had nothing to do with Tang Ao, and they usually did not interact with each other. If not for the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard arena, she would never have met Tang Ao in her life. However, if she really did not meet Tang Ao in her life, she would feel a little regretful. She did not know what Tang Ao was thinking when he was facing Ouyang Duan, but Tang Ao's neither servile nor overbearing attitude towards Ouyang Duan left a deep impression in her heart. 8 hours later, Tang Ao was still unconscious, but Kasahara Yuki had already regained consciousness. Tang Ao's entire body was now on top of her, and Kasahara Yuki could not help but blush. In these 8 hours, her understanding of the world had undergone an earth-shattering transformation. It could be said that the current her was no different from a normal young girl. All these changes happened subtly, and because everything was so normal, even Kasahara Yuki herself did not notice the changes in herself. Even though Kasahara Yuki had regained consciousness, the aftereffects of the soul-suppressing bone were still present. Her body was still limp, and she had no strength at all. Gazing at Tang Ao, who was on top of her, Kasahara Yuki tried to push Tang Ao away, but to no avail. The reason why Kasahara Yuki wanted to push Tang Ao was because Tang Ao was not well-behaved in his sleep. If it wasn't for the fact that Kasahara Yuki knew that Tang Ao had truly exhausted his spiritual power, she would have thought that Tang Ao was deliberately taking advantage of her. Just as Kasahara Yuki was deep in thought, Tang Ao suddenly grabbed her hand. Kasahara Yuki moaned, and her pretty face looked as if it had a fever. Although she couldn't push Tang Ao away, Kasahara Yuki still managed to remove Tang Ao's claws from her body. Tang Ao had pinched her so hard that Kasahara Yuki even suspected that the spot where Tang Ao had pinched her was bruised. She did not know what this guy was doing, or if he was dreaming about something. An hour later, Kasahara Yuki finally regained her strength. She got up, took out a clean dress from her storage ring, and put it on. She then threw the blood-stained dress to the side. Under the healing of Tang Ao's Jade Bone Life Spirit, not a single scar was left on Kasahara Yuki's body. Chapter 239. At this moment, Tang Ao woke up in a daze and saw Kasahara Yuki putting on her clothes. Tang Ao couldn't help but be stunned. Kasahara Yuki raised her head and met Tang Ao's gaze. "Why are you still looking? Turn around," Kasahara Yuki said angrily. "Oh." Tang Ao hurriedly returned to his senses and turned around. Today was the last day of the finals of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings, and it was also the most exciting day. Today, the top 10 experts of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings would be determined, and the top 5 experts of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings would represent their sex to participate in the trial of the Emperor Ming Mystic Realm. When Tang Ao and Kasahara Yuki walked side by side towards the Dragon and Phoenix rankings arena, there was a wave of wails and howls. Scum! Not only did he take Junior's sister Luo Tsai, but he also took Junior's sister Kasahara Yuki. Kill him. I'll pay 5 copper coins. Who can help me kill him? Bastard. How could he do such a heinous thing? I don't want to live anymore. This family is too crazy. Amidst the commotion, Luo Tsai also saw Tang Ao and Kasahara Yuki, who was standing side by side with Tang Ao. Luo Tsai's expression immediately became complicated. The 3 brothers of the Fong family who had been following Luo Tsai also saw the change in her expression. Sister Tsai, this Tang Ao is really a scum. He already has Sister Tsai, but he still goes around flirting with other women, Fong Xiuling said indignantly. Fong Xiuwu's eyes lit up when he saw this. Junior Sister Tsai, although Tang Ao is quite capable, his character is really not that good. You should consider our Fong family. Second brother is right. Junior Sister Tsai, when you get together with Tang Ao in the future, you will inevitably have to worry about a few women fighting for the position of the legal wife. My family's ancestral teachings only allow one man to have one wife. Junior Sister Tsai, what do you think of me? As Fong Xiuwen spoke, he opened the folding fan in his hand and started fanning himself, giving off a dashing vibe. What nonsense are you talking about? I have nothing to do with Tang Ao. Luo Tsai hurriedly defended herself. However, as soon as Luo Tsai finished speaking, Tang Ao had already walked behind Luo Tsai. Tang Ao took Luo Tsai's hand and walked toward the dueling platform. Let go of me. It's not good to pull like this. Luo Tsai struggled against Tang Ao's hand, but failed to break free. Don't lose today's match. After saying this, Tang Ao took the lead and walked into the arena. The first match of the day was between Tang Ao and Dong Xinyi. After Tang Ao walked onto the stage, Dong Xinyi's figure also appeared on the stage with a flash. When they saw that the first match of the day was between Tang Ao and Dong Xinyi, the disciples who were watching the match immediately became excited. Senior brother Dong Xinyi, teach him a lesson. Beat him until all his teeth fall out. Senior brother Dong Xinyi, all the best. Don't let the enemy of the inner sect walk off the stage. Hearing the vicious curses from below the stage, Tang Ao was also speechless. Looking at Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki who were standing together below the stage, Tang Ao laughed at himself. Indeed, he could not bear the luck with women that he should not have at his age. Tang Ao, all the best. You can do it. I believe in you. Luo Tsai suddenly shouted when she saw Tang Ao looking at her. After hearing Luo Tsai's shout, Kasahara Yuki could not help but shout too. Tang Ao, all the best. I believe in you too. When the surrounding people heard the two great beauties of the 7 kills sect cheering for Tang Ao, Tang Ao's hatred was instantly filled to the brim. Senior brother Dong Xinyi, don't let him walk off the stage. Senior brother Dong Xinyi, make him unable to be a man. Chapter 240. In the arena, Dong Xinyi and Tang Ao cupped their fists at each other. Please. Dong Xinyi was a man of few words. He didn't seem to like talking, especially when he was about to fight. As such, his matches had always been clean and tidy, and he would never waste his breath on his opponents. Please. Dong Xinyi wasn't willing to say more, and Tang Ao didn't think there was a need to. However, Tang Ao couldn't help but say, Senior brother Dong Xinyi, I awakened to 21st heaven life soul last night. Please don't hold back later. After watching so many of Dong Xinyi's matches, Tang Ao naturally knew that Dong Xinyi hadn't used his full strength every time he attacked. Although Dong Xinyi's attacks were clean and tidy, he had never caused any damage to his opponents. Dong Xinyi would even forcefully stop his attacks at certain critical moments. This was an opponent worthy of respect. Dong Xinyi was taken aback when he heard Tang Ao's words, but he nodded. Since Tang Ao could tell that he hadn't used his full strength in the previous battles and still dared to ask him to use his full strength under such circumstances, Tang Ao must have the confidence to make him use his full strength. 20 night orbs instantly lined up behind Dong Xinyi. Although the 20 profound night beads were identical, each profound night bead could be considered a life soul, which meant, in an instant, Dong Xinyi had already summoned the 20 night orbs. After the 20 night orbs were summoned, they slowly fused together under everyone's shocked gazes. Senior brother Dong Xinyi, what move is that? The night orb can be fused together? I heard that each of senior brother Dong Xinyi's night orbs is a life soul. Doesn't that mean? That means senior brother Dong Xinyi has fused all 20 life souls together. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Should I awaken the night orb life soul too? Forget it. Do you think it's that easy to awaken the night orb life soul? After the 20 night orbs fused into a black orb, it instantly split into 7. Behind Dongxian, Yi floated 7 jet black weapons. Tang Ao naturally understood what Dong Xuanya was trying to do when he saw what he was doing. 7 life soul weapons. This was a sign that he was about to use the 7 kill sect's ultimate technique, the 7 kill massacre art. However, when he saw the 7 weapons on Dong Xuanya's back that corresponded to the 7 slaughter art, Tang Ao understood that Dong Xuanya had learned the 7 slaughter divine way, just like him. After Dongxian, Yi summoned the 7 life soul weapons. The 100 battle spear soul appeared behind Tang Ao. Then, the sun-shooting arrow soul shot an arrow, and the green lotus sword soul's green lotus sword soul flashed out, slowly turning into a 3 feet long sword. Soon after, the mad blood saber soul, 10,000 ghost soul, seeking soul, farewell soul reaping soul, and world-dominating axe soul also appeared behind Tang Ao. Upon seeing Tang Ao conjure 7 artifact life souls, the audience immediately exclaimed. After all, most disciples didn't know that Tang Ao had grasped the 7 kill slaughtering art. It's the 7 kill slaughtering art against the 7 kill slaughtering art. I didn't expect Tang Ao to have learned the 7 kill slaughtering art. This is going to be interesting. The 7 kill slaughtering art is the 7 kill sect's secret technique. I didn't expect Tang Ao to have learned it. This is going to be interesting. Senior brother Dongxian, Yi has used the 7 kill slaughtering art to beat up countless genius warriors. Now, he's matched up against the 7 kill slaughtering art. Chapter 241. On the viewing platform a little further away from the Dragon and Phoenix rankings arena, the elders of the 7 Kills sect looked at Tang Ao and Dongxian Yi in confusion. As elders of the 7 Kills sect, they had naturally studied the 7 kill slaughtering art quite a bit. However, even though what Dongxian Yi and Tang Ao had executed seemed similar to the 7 kill slaughtering art, the terrifying might hidden within it was not just a little bit stronger than the 7 kill slaughtering art. Grand Elder Fengya looked at the two of them and nodded thoughtfully. Do you know how the 7 kill sect's 7 kill carnage skill came about? Fengya looked at the two people in the ring and asked the elders behind him. The elders sighed inwardly when they heard Fengya's question. Was there need to ask? Who didn't know that the 7 kill carnage skill was created by you based on a cultivation method passed down from ancient times? From the elders' point of view, Fengya had mentioned it to show off in front of the juniors. Hence, they said tacitly, we don't know. Please enlighten us, Uncle Master. I created the 7 kill carnage skill based on a cultivation method passed down from ancient times. That cultivation method is called the 7 kill holy way, and what those two kids are displaying right now isn't the 7 kill carnage skill that I created, but the original 7 kill holy way. After Fengya's explanation, the elders also understood why the 7 kill carnage skill that Tang Ao and Dongxian you were displaying was so different from the one they were familiar with. It turned out that Tang Ao and Dongxian you had not used Fengya's imitation cultivation method at all. Instead, they had displayed the original 7 kill holy way. Although they understood, the second elder was still a little confused. Senior Uncle Fengya, since the 7 kills sect has the complete 7 kills holy way, why don't we let our disciples cultivate the 7 kills holy way directly? Instead, we have to settle for the second best, the 7 kills slaughter art. Among the current 7 elders of the 7 kills sect, the second elder had the highest attainment in the 7 kills slaughter art. It was also because of this that he didn't understand why someone would create a cultivation method like the 7 slaughter divine way, which was several times more powerful than the 7 slaughter art. His 7 kill art of slaughter had already reached the great success stage, and he had relied on the 7 kill art of slaughter to survive countless life and death situations. Therefore, he had no doubts about the power of the 7 slaughter art. Back then, my master had a total of 23 true disciples. Your master and I had the worst martial talent among all the disciples. In the end, Because of the matter of cultivating the 7 slaughter divine Tao, only your master and I were left of the 23 brothers. The group of elders was shocked. They had never heard of these secrets of the 7 kills sect before. To think that something like this had happened to the 7 kills sect in the past. One must know that with Feng presiding over the 7 kills sect alone, the surrounding sects and the 6 great clans of the primordial era would not dare to have any designs on the 7 kills sect. Back then, Feng actually had 23 disciples. If a few of these 23 seniors were still alive, the 7 kills sect would have probably become the #1 sect in the Black Tortoise continent. Uncle Master Feng, then did you and our master successfully cultivate the 7 slaughter divine Tao? It's not that easy. In the 7 kills sect, only your grandmaster managed to cultivate the 7 slaughter divine Tao to the great success stage. And before your grandmaster left, he warned us not to cultivate the 7 slaughter divine Tao. However, all the senior brothers were proud of their martial talent and did not listen to the grandmaster's advice. In the end, they went berserk and passed away. Chapter 242. In the end, eldest senior brother followed in the footsteps of the other senior and junior brothers and died with a grudge. However, eldest senior brother also left behind valuable cultivation experience. Your master and I followed the cultivation experience left behind by your eldest senior uncle and finally reached lesser mastery of the 7 kills divine path. The 7 kills divine path has extremely high requirements for talent and temperament, and it's an unimaginable test for one's martial heart. The slightest bit of carelessness will cause you to lose yourself in the great power and eventually suffer chi deviation. In order to prevent this cultivation method from harming the disciples of the 7 kills sect, I spent 300 years simplifying the 7 kills divine path into the 7 kills carnage art and passed it down in the 7 kills sect. The difficulty of cultivating the simplified 7 kills carnage art is less than 1/10 of the 7 kills divine path, but only a few people have reached greater mastery over all these years. After Feng finished speaking, all the elders had ashamed expressions on their faces, because it was indeed as Feng had said. Amongst all of them, only the first elder and second elder had mastered the 7 slaughter art. According to Uncle Master Feng, since the 7 kills divine path is so difficult to cultivate, what about these 2 disciples? The second elder looked at Tang Ao and Dong Xinyi in confusion. He simply couldn't understand how these 2 disciples had managed to cultivate the 7 kills divine path. Feng chuckled in relief. Although you haven't developed the 7 kills sect much these years, you've done well in terms of grooming disciples. These 2 people's martial Tao talent and martial Tao hearts were quite good, as long as they were nurtured well. As long as they're nurtured well, they'll be experts that far surpass you and me in the future. On the Dragon and Phoenix rankings arena, Tang Ao and Dong Xin were naturally unaware of Feng Ye's evaluation of them. From Dong Xinya's actions and the faint aura he exuded, Tang Ao knew that Dong Xinyu would be a difficult opponent. Dong Xinyu had the same thought. He had always liked to end battles quickly, but it seemed impossible this time. Suddenly, both of their auras fluctuated, and the 2 figures clashed fiercely with each other. Under the control of the 7 killing divine path, the 7 life souls clashed against each other nonstop. Terrifying spiritual energy fluctuations spread out from between the 2 of them, causing the flat, dueling platform to be riddled with holes. Tang Ao held the 100 battle spear soul in his hand, while Dong Xin held a shiny black saber and a sword. A string of sparks blossomed from the collision of the 2 weapons, and the arena was also covered in dazzling and colorful spiritual energy. Behind Tang Ao was a 7-color stream of light, and Dong Xin was also a 7-color stream of light. However, Dong Xinya's 7-color stream of light was mixed with some darkness, which was clearly the effect of the mysterious night pearl. With the recoil, Dong Xinyi leaped into the air. Palm of 7 slaughter. In the air, Dong Feng Xuanya roared, and the 7 rays of light behind him quickly entered his body. A terrifying spiritual energy gushed out from his palm and crushed towards Tang Ao, who was on the duel stage, with an earth-shattering momentum. Palm of 7 slaughter. The 7 rays of light behind Tang Ao also entered Tang Ao's body in an instant. Tang Ao also struck out with his palm, and a powerful force that seemed like it could tear space apart blasted towards Dong Xinyi in midair. Rumble, rumble, kacha, kacha. Chapter 243. Is this the power of senior brother Dong Xuanye's full strength? I'm afraid that Tang Ao is already dead. Not even his ashes are left. It's too terrifying. Even the protective barrier strengthened by attendant Wu can't withstand this turbulent flow of spiritual energy. It's better for us to retreat a little to avoid being injured by the turbulent flow of spiritual energy. That makes sense. It would be too unjust to be crushed to death by this turbulent flow of spiritual energy. After all the disciples had retreated, the protective barrier on the stage could no longer withstand the violent, turbulent flow of spiritual energy. Bang! It exploded. Some of the disciples who were slightly closer were immediately sent flying by the force. On the viewing platform in the distance, the elders of 7 Kills sect clicked their tongues and were speechless for a long time. I didn't think that these 2 fellows would have already cultivated the 7 Kills divine way to the initial stage. Fengya said with relief. Although Tang Ao and Dong Xuanye's strength was still relatively weak, with their potential, they would definitely grow into experts that far surpassed him in the future. He could still protect the 7 Kills sect for over 100 years, which was enough time for Tang Ao and Dong Xuanye to grow. Uncle Master, you're just letting the 2 of them fight like this? Aren't you afraid that the 2 of them will die in the battle arena? 5th Elder asked resentfully. It's fine. They're youngsters. If they don't decide who's stronger, they'll inevitably be unconvinced. It's good to let them temper themselves. As for their safety, Attendant Wu and Grand Elder are watching from the side, so there's no need to worry. When the dust on the battle arena dissipated, Tang Ao and Dong Xuanye stood on the battle arena in ragged clothes. The Dragon and Phoenix Rankings battle arena that had been used for God knows how many years was also riddled with holes from the 2 of them. It was a tragic sight. Dong Xuanye looked at Tang Ao and was inwardly shocked. He had already used 80% of his strength in this battle, but Tang Ao was actually on par with him. Not only that, but Tang Ao had also cultivated the 7 Kills divine way to the initial stage. At this point, there was no longer any need to continue fighting. If they were to continue fighting, the 2 of them would have to use their life-saving trump cards. This was just a spar between disciples of the same sect. There was really no need to carry it out to that extent. At this moment, he had yet to use the 21st Heaven's profound Night Pearl, and Tang Ao had yet to use the life soul he had awakened from the 21st Heaven. It seemed that Tang Ao's thoughts were more or less in line with his. Senior brother Dong Xuanye, how about a draw? All right. After saying that, Dong Xinyi left the stage, and Tang Ao walked down as well. After walking to the resting area, Tang Ao felt a sweetness in his throat and spat out a mouthful of blood. In a secluded area, Dong Xinyi also spat out a mouthful of blood. Although the 2 of them did not go all out, they still suffered some injuries. Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki came to Tang Ao's side at the same time and asked in unison, "Are you all right?" After that, the 3 of them looked at each other in dismay. For a moment, the situation was extremely awkward. "You guys talk first. I'm leaving," Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki said at the same time. Tang Ao smiled bitterly. Today is the final for the top 5 of the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard. You guys prepare well. Okay. This time, Kasahara Yuki did not say anything to avoid the awkwardness and only nodded. Then, she went to prepare for the next match. Although Luo Tsai agreed, she had no intention of leaving. After Kasahara Yuki left, Luo Tsai sat beside Tang Ao openly. "Tang Ao, you're not being honest. You've already hooked up with junior sister Kasahara Yuki in such a short time," Luo Tsai teased casually. However, after Luo Tsai said that, Tang Ao pulled her into his arms. I'll protect you. Chapter 244. At that moment, the final match of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings competition was taking place in the dueling arena. It could also be considered the most interesting match of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings competition. The first ranker of the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings, Dong Xinyi, versus the second ranker of the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings, Ouyang Duan. Initially, based on Dong Xinyi and Ouyang Duan's previous performances, most people had thought that the first place of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings would belong to Dong Xinyi again. However, in Ouyang Duan's previous match, there was a small problem. Fang Xiuling, who was not thought highly of by the crowd, had actually awakened the 21st level spiritual light, thousand-leaf willow life spirit, and was evenly matched with Ouyang Duan. Moreover, he seemed to be suppressing Ouyang Duan. Left with no other choice, Ouyang Duan also summoned the life spirit of the 21st floor, the corpse cage dragon, to fight against Fang Xiuling. In the end, the corpse cage dragon severely injured Fang Xiuling and rendered him powerless to continue fighting. Meanwhile, Kasahara Yuki, who was supposed to fight Fang Xiuling, was lucky enough to advance to the next round. Ouyang Duan was also very helpless towards all of this. If it weren't for Fang Xiuling being so overbearing, he wouldn't have wanted to reveal his trump cards so early. Furthermore, although he had awakened the 21st Firmament Corpse Cage Dragon Life Soul, he still couldn't summon the Skeleton Cage Dragon Life Soul. However, he still didn't have complete control over the Thousand Leaves Willow Life Spirit, so he didn't want to let Kasuya take advantage of him when he fought Fang Xiuling. He just wanted to defeat Fang Xiuling, but he didn't expect that his attack would severely injure Fang Xiuling, who possessed the Thousand Leaves Willow Life Spirit. Seeing how happy Kasahara Yuki was, Ouyang Duan was so angry that his teeth itched. Fortunately, Ouyang Duanjing had also gained something from this battle. After all, the person he was fighting against was also an owner of the spiritual light Thousand Leaves Willow Life Spirit at the peak of the 21st layer of heaven. Through the battle with Fang Xiuling, his control over the corpse cage dragon life soul had improved. It could be said that apart from Tang Ao's mutated Jade Bone life soul, the corpse cage dragon life soul was undoubtedly the best life soul in the 21st firmament. Hence, everyone was even more excited about the match between Dong Xinyi and Ouyang Duan. Although the battle between Tang Ao and Dong Xinyi had been very exciting not long ago, Tang Ao hadn't revealed such a high-level life soul. In the past Dragon and Phoenix rankings, this was also a battle between life souls of the highest level. Dong Xinyi, this is the third time we are fighting since we entered the 7 Kills sect. This time I must defeat you. Ouyang Duan said as he summoned the corpse jail dragon life soul. A bone dragon the size of a quarter of the arena gradually appeared. Waves of evil and deathly still aura emanated from the bone dragon's body. Within the empty eye sockets of the bone dragon, there were 2 wisps of blue hellfire. Although the bone dragon had yet to make any moves, that powerful pressure had already pressed down on everyone to the point of suffocation. Dong Xinyi, who bore the brunt of the attack, had his aura thrown into disarray. It was clear that he had been greatly affected by the bone dragon. Oh! Hearing Ouyang Duan's words, Dong Xinyi replied calmly. Seeing Dong Xinyi's expression, Ouyang Duan could not help but feel like exploding. But at this moment, Dong Xinyi continued, "You've already said this twice." Hearing these words, Ouyang Duan was instantly enraged. However, before he could do anything, Dong Xinyi's 7 beams of light were already blasting towards him. At the same time, the 7 streams of light wrapped around Ouyang Duan. 21 mysterious night beads also appeared behind Dong Xinyi. When the spectating disciples saw the 21 mysterious night beads appear behind Dong Xinyi, they were instantly stunned. The life soul that senior brother Dong Xinyi is using this 7 Kills massacre art doesn't seem to be conjured from the mysterious night beads. Chapter 245. I knew it. Senior brother Dong Xinyi is such a genius. How can he only awaken one life soul, the Night Pearl? Below the dueling platform, Tang Ao thought to himself as he looked at Dong Xuanyi, who was on the dueling platform. When he and Dong Xuanyi had fought, both of them seemed to have used their full strength, but Dong Xuanyi had indeed held back, just like him. The 7 life souls that Dong Xuanyi had summoned with the 7 Slaughter Sage Way were all 20th Heaven life souls. Ouyang Duan snorted coldly at the sight of Dong Xian, Ye's 7 killing sage Dao, as a bone blade instantly appeared in his hand. This bone saber was called the Soul Experience Saber, and it was also a rare treasure. Ouyang Duan waved his hand, and the corpse prison dragon life soul from the 21st heaven instantly charged towards Dong Xuanyi. As for Ouyang Duan, he raised the experienced soul saber and met Dong Xuanyi's 7 streams of light. I didn't expect Ouyang Duan and Dong Xuanyi to be so powerful. Beside Tang Ao, Luo Tsai sighed as she looked at Dong Xuanyi and Ouyang Duan on the arena. Although strange things happened frequently in this year's Dragon and Phoenix Rankings duels, there were many more points to watch compared to the previous years. Putting aside Dong Xuanyi and Ouyang Duan, who were ranked first in the previous Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard and second in the previous Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard. Even Fong Xiuling, who was ranked 9th on the previous Dragon and Phoenix roll, had successfully awakened the 21st Firmament Spirit Light 1000-Leaf Willow Life Soul. Moreover, Tang Ao, the newly promoted inner disciple, had not only successfully made his way into the Dragon and Phoenix rankings, he had even fought to a draw with Dong Xianyi, who was ranked first in the previous Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Seeing that Tang Ao was ignoring her, Luo Tsai poked Tang Ao's waist and asked, "Have you also awakened a 21st Firmament Life Soul?" Yes. At this moment, Tang Ao was completely focused on the battle between Ouyang Duan and Dong Xianyi. He and Ouyang Duan had a long history of enmity, and Ouyang Duan's methods were also endless. Ouyang Duan would definitely find trouble with him when he entered the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm. Hence, Tang Ao wanted to accept Ouyang Duan's challenge and gather as much information as he could about Ouyang Duan. He did not want to fall into Ouyang Duan's trap in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm. When Luo Tsai heard that Tang Ao had also awakened a 21st Firmament Life Soul, she immediately felt a sense of defeat. All of you have 21 Heavenly Fate Souls. Only junior sister Kasahara Yuki and I don't. What life soul did you awaken? Luo Tsai was very interested in the 21st Firmament Life Soul that Tang Ao had awakened. This was because Tang Ao had never used the powerful 21st Firmament Life Soul in this Dragon and Phoenix ranking competition. Tang Ao stretched out his right hand, palm up. Not long after, Tang Ao's palm was filled with specks of pale green light. This light was very gentle, and it gave the eyes a very comfortable feeling. Although Luo Tsai did not know what kind of life spirit it was, judging from the faint aura it exuded, it was indeed a life spirit from the 21st heaven. What kind of life soul is this? I have never seen or heard of it before. Luo Tsai was a little curious about Tang Ao's life soul. As the daughter of the 7 Kills sect leader and the successor of the Luo family of the Desolate Antiquity, she had been well-read since she was young and knew many things that others did not. But when faced with Tang Ao's special life soul, Luo Tsai was still stunned. This is the unique Jade Bone Life Soul in the 21st Firmament, and it can heal injuries. Actually, I have already used this life soul in the battle with Dong Xianyi. It is just that it is too obscure, so it is very difficult to detect. Tang Ao did not hide anything from Luo Tsai. The hidden Jade and Stone physique and the Heavenly Phoenix Spirit Jade physique were destined by the heavens. Chapter 246. Luo Tsai covered her mouth in surprise. This is the legendary Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul. I didn't expect this life soul to look like this. Luo Tsai curiously stretched out her slender hand to wipe the light green light spot on Tang Ao's palm, but Tang Ao grabbed her hand. "You're so annoying. Let go of me, or I'll beat you up," Luo Tsai said as she raised her fist. But then Luo Tsai was stunned again because she felt that a part of the light green light spot had actually poured into her body. The light green light spot that poured in her body was somewhat like a life soul, but also like a special kind of spiritual power. Then Luo Tsai tried to communicate with the light green light spot that poured into her body, and she found that the light green light spot was very obedient. Then Luo Tsai followed Tang Ao's example and gathered the light green light spot in her palm. In an instant, Luo Tsai's palm looked like there were hundreds of fireflies flying around. What's going on? Luo Tsai felt that in such a short time, Tang Ao's special life soul had actually merged with her. It was as if this life soul was the one she had awakened. Moreover, this life soul quickly established an intimate connection with Luo Tsai's soul. If Luo Tsai didn't know how this life soul came about, she would probably suspect that this life soul was awakened by herself. Even she herself suspected that she had awakened this life soul on her own. Luo Tsai even believed that even if she showed this life soul to her father would definitely think that she had awakened it on her own. Thinking of this, Luo Tsai looked at Tang Ao as if she was looking at a monster. In your body is a child life soul of the Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul. Now, compared with the Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul in my body, your life soul is still a little weak, but in time, it can also grow to the strength of the 21st Heaven Life Soul. As Tang Ao continued to study the Heaven Evolution record passed down by the Six Light Mirror, he also had a deeper understanding of some life souls. For example, the method of the Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul, separating the child life soul, was a special ability of the Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul recorded in the Heaven Evolution record. Then how long can this Jade Bone Life Soul you gave me last? This was the first time Luo Tsai had seen such a method of separating a life soul. She was also very curious about the Jade Bone Life Soul Tang Ao had given her. Luo Tsai had always been curious about everything. Seeing such a magical thing this time, she naturally wanted to ask Tang Ao about it. As long as I'm alive, the life soul in your body will always be there. Of course, you can also think that it will exist forever, because I will definitely live well and protect you. Tang Ao looked at Luo Tsai with clear eyes and said very seriously. Several black lines appeared on Luo Tsai's forehead, and she secretly lamented in her heart. She was happy and shy at the same time. Her emotions were very complicated. Tang Ao was really too much. He kept saying such things to him. He was really too annoying. While Luo Tsai was lost in her thoughts, Tang Ao began to carefully observe the intense battle between Dong Xunyi and Ouyang Duan on the arena. Chapter 247. On the dueling platform, this newly repaired dueling platform was once again beaten to a miserable state by Dong Xunyi and Ouyang Duan. It was different from the seven-colored flowing light that overflowed in the battle between Tang Ao and Dong Xunyi. The entire arena was covered in dust from the battle between Ouyang Duan and Dong Xunyi, and even the ground beneath the arena would occasionally tremble. Although it was impossible to clearly see the extent of the battle between the two on the platform, the frequency and amplitude of the tremors were increasing. It was clear that the two on the platform were not having an easy time either. Suddenly, Tang Ao pulled Luo Tsai up. Luo Tsai was gradually becoming immune to Tang Ao's sudden actions. She suppressed her anger and did her best to calm herself down. If you continue to be like this, what will I do if I can't get married in the future? Tang Ao did not say anything, because even if Tang Ao did not say anything, Luo Tsai would have understood. It turned out that the battle between Dong Xunyi and Ouyang Duan had caused too much of commotion, and the ground around the viewing platform had instantly split open into several cracks that were 2 meters wide and several meters deep. And Luo Tsai had just happened to be fighting on one of the cracks. Tang Ao possessed the Heaven's Eye technique, so he could clearly see the situation of the battle between the two on the platform. But the others were all blocked by the protective barrier around the dueling platform and the flying dust on the platform, so they did not discover the powerful ripples that had leaked out from the dueling platform in time. This sudden scene also gave the spectating disciples quite a fright. A few disciples who did not react in time even fell into the cracks that had suddenly split open. Who can tell me what's going on? What's going on? Why am I the one who fell into the pit? Senior brothers, pull me up. This little brother's legs have turned to jelly. This match is too dangerous. I'm not watching anymore, I'm going back. As the disciples below the dueling platform clamored, the elders on the viewing platform were also secretly shocked. The commotion caused by these two little fellows is indeed a little too big. Not bad, not bad. They have the demeanor of this old man in the past. Third elder, I get a headache every time you boast. Can you stop boasting? What? Fourth junior brother, who didn't even enter the top 3 of the Dragon rankings and Phoenix rankings all those years ago, yet you have the nerve to criticize me? Third senior brother, don't mention such trivial matters from the past. It's not the era of us old guys anymore. After pulling out the disciples who had fallen into the pit, everyone began to discuss again. The Dragon and Phoenix rankings this time were much more special than the previous years, and many unforeseen events had occurred as well. Not only were there some hot topics, but there were also some dark horses in some competitions. The only thing that was slightly better than the previous years was this year's Dragon and Phoenix ranking tournament. The tragedy of Jiang Zhilu being ravaged by the top 3 experts of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings did not happen again. Say, who do you think will win between senior brother Ouyang Duan and senior brother Dong Xuanya? That's hard to say. Currently, senior brother Dong Xuanya's battle record is 4 wins and 1 draw, while senior brother Ouyang Duan's battle record is 5 wins. If senior brother Dong Xuanya wins this battle, he will still be number 1. If senior brother Dong Xuanya and senior brother Ouyang Duan end up in a draw, the first place of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings will belong to senior brother Ouyang Duan. Sigh, this is unfair to senior brother Dong Xuanya. Even senior brother Ouyang Duan has not fought with Tang Ao before. That's right. Moreover, senior brother Dong Xuanya has expended a lot of energy when he fought with Tang Ao. Chapter 248. For a moment, the expressions of the spectators changed instantly. Dong Xuanya supporters all had bitter looks on their faces. They had never thought that the invincible Dong Xuanya would actually be defeated by Ouyang Duan. Luo Cai was also somewhat disappointed. After a while, Luo Cai suddenly pinched Tang Ao's waist. It's all your fault. Back then, who told you to admit defeat when you fought against me? Look at it now. You don't even have the chance to participate in the battle for the number 1 position on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. Didn't I fight against the number 1 on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings? Tang Ao said with a faint smile. Of course, Luo Cai understood that Tang Ao was talking about the duel between him and Dong Xinyi. However, Luo Cai wanted to talk about the duel between Tang Ao and the first ranker of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings, Ouyang Duan. But Luo Cai didn't say in the end, because after the smoke and dust on the duel arena dissipated, an unbelievable scene appeared before everyone's eyes. On the dueling arena, Dong Xinyi single-handedly lifted Ouyang Duan, who was completely powerless, in front of him. Dong Xinyi's aura was also very chaotic, but it was clearly much better than Ouyang Duan, who was completely unable to move. In this way, it was obvious who was the first on this year's Dragon and Phoenix rankings. This sudden turn of events left the crowd unable to react in time. Earlier on, when they saw Ouyang Duan's figure, they had assumed that Ouyang Duan had won in the end. Who would have thought that Ouyang Duan would be defeated by Dong Xinyi in the end? After Dong Xinyi's victory, Dong Xinyi's supporters naturally erupted into thunderous cheers. At the same time, a portion of the disciples also felt that Tang Ao's luck was really bad. He had already fought to a draw with Dong Xinyi, but in the end, he had to admit defeat against Luo Cai. At the side, Luo Cai also reprimanded Tang Ao rather exasperatedly. Look at you. If you hadn't admitted defeat when we fought, you would have been tied for first place on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings with senior brother Dong Xuanya. It's fine. The result is no longer important. Tang Ao looked at Luo Cai playfully. Seeing Tang Ao's eyes, Luo Tsai subconsciously took a few steps back. What are you talking about? Besides, even though I lost a match and didn't get first place, I still beat you. What nonsense are you talking about? I'm ignoring you. On the arena, Dong Xunyi carried Ouyang Duan with great difficulty as he walked down the arena. After Dong Xunyi left the dueling stage, the originally extremely sturdy dueling stage instantly turned into a pile of stone powder. Under the violent battle between Dong Xunyi and Ouyang Duan, the battle arena was completely unable to withstand it. After Dong Xunyi walked off the dueling arena, the Great Elder announced the result of the battle. The Great Elder flew into the air and stood still. He looked at the participants and the spectators. This year's 7 Kills Sex Dragon and Phoenix ranking competition has come to an end, and the 7 Kills Sex new Dragon and Phoenix ranking experts have been born. Next, I will announce the top 10 experts on the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard. You can check the rankings of the other experts on the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard by yourselves at the 7 Kills Sex Plaza. The top 10 of this year's Dragon and Phoenix rankings are as follows. First place, Dong Xunyi. Upon hearing Dong Xunyi's name, the crowd cheered without waiting for the first elder to continue. The Great Elder did not stop the crowd. In fact, in the Great Elder's opinion, the first place of the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard was indeed deserving of such an honor. At the same time, the Great Elder also felt that it was a pity for Tang Ao, who had fought to a draw with Dong Xunyi. If Tang Ao and Luo Tsai had not messed around during the battle, Tang Ao and Dong Xunyi would already be tied for first place on the Dragon and Phoenix leaderboard. Second place, Ouyang Duan. Chapter 249. In the battle just now, he had only lost to Dong Xunyi by half a move. But it was his half move that made him completely lose the ability to fight again. He was very unwilling to accept this. This was the closest he had been to success in so many years. Third place, Tang Ao. When Tang Ao's name was announced, the crowd immediately cheered, especially the outer sect disciples, who treated Tang Ao as a role model. He had been promoted from the outer sect to the inner sect in the shortest time possible, became a disciple of the Dragon and Phoenix rankings in the shortest time possible, and became a disciple of the top 3 in the shortest time possible. Some of Tang Ao's achievements were also widely spread in the 7 Kills sect, and he shone brilliantly. Although Tang Ao was only third place, the crowd's cheers and applause were even louder than when they heard Dong Xunyi's name. Anyone could tell that if Tang Ao had not deliberately admitted defeat against Luo Tsai, Tang Ao would have been this year's top expert on the Dragon and Phoenix rankings. And because Tang Ao had admitted defeat against Luo Tsai, many male disciples saw it as an act of grace. In the future, the matter of male disciples admitting defeat in the 7 Kills Sex competitions was a headache for the elders. In the end, they even made it mandatory to not admit defeat before the competition, which stopped the wave of admitting defeat. Fourth place, Luo Tsai. Fifth place, Kasahara Yuki. Although Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki were only fourth and fifth, they were known as the two great beauties of the inner sect and were naturally quite popular. It even caused some friction between the two supporters. On the viewing platform a little further away from the dueling platform, Supreme Elder Feng, you looked at Dong Xunyi, Tang Ao, and the other disciples with great satisfaction. Feng Ye took a step forward and completely disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Tang Ao and the others. This was a great ability that could shrink the ground. Tang Ao and the others were shocked to see Feng Ye suddenly appear in front of them. When the first elder saw Feng Ye in midair, he hurriedly descended and bowed. Martial nephew greets Uncle Master Feng Ye. It hadn't been long since Tang Ao joined the 7 Kills sect, so he naturally didn't know Feng Ye, nor had he heard of this Grandmaster Feng Ye. However, Dong Xunyi, Luo Tsai, and the others recognized him. Hence, the disciples of the 7 Kills sect also bowed and paid their respects. Disciple greets Ancestor Feng Ye. Forget it, forget it. It's not like you little fellows don't know that this old man hates these unnecessary formalities the most. All of you did very well in this year's Dragon and Phoenix rankings, especially the few little fellows who were in the top 5. Go back and have a good rest. 3 days later, this old man will personally send all of you to participate in the Netherworld Emperor Mysticrel trial. After Feng finished speaking, a life soul in the shape of a white jade bottle appeared behind him. There was a willow branch in the white jade bottle. Feng waved his sleeve, and the willow branch dipped in the crystal-clear liquid flew into the air. In an instant, the sparkling and translucent droplets flew onto everyone's bodies and quickly entered their bodies. After that, everyone was surprised to find that their injuries were almost healed. Ouyang Duan, who was initially unable to move at all, also stood up at this moment. Evidently, the injuries on his body had recovered. Ouyang Duan looked at the spring rejuvenation jade bottle floating in midair, and his eyes were burning with passion. The spring rejuvenation jade bottle in midair looked like a life soul, but it was actually a special treasure that was a combination of a life soul and a spiritual treasure. This life soul was called the Sky Rejuvenation Dew Life Soul. If one wanted to awaken this life soul, they would have to use the spring rejuvenation jade bottle in midair. This time, he had suffered such serious injuries, but this life soul and this spiritual treasure were actually able to help him recover instantly. Ouyang Duan made up his mind that one day he would get his hands on this spring rejuvenation jade bottle. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.